a limit where it needs to be. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind, you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick. Hi. I feel like shit. How about you? Yeah, the weather is really getting to me. I'm feeling the weather and my shoulders hurt, my neck hurts, my back hurts, everything hurts, my knee. Um, Spoke to a doctor this morning. He's telling me I'm going to need surgery for sure. So I'm like, now I got to get more confirmations from other doctors to make sure 100% and then figure out when we're going to do this shit. I just want to get it over with. The sooner the better. I don't want to procrastinate, but it needs to get fixed. And I don't want to be walking around with a bum leg that could give out on me any day. So that's going to really suck for me because I know the recovery on that is a bitch, but I got to do it. Got nothing else but to do it. And we'll figure it out. This weekend I will be taking the weekend off. The only way I will come back on here is if something big happens overseas. What I mean, if we break out in war, which I believe we may. Something keeps telling me that something really, really, really big is going to happen. Even the media is hyping up on it and jumping on that. Is it going to be something that we've probably never seen before? Are we about to see something biblical? Like something that it's going to like shock and awe, that is going to really bring everyone like into a state of shock? That's a possibility. It's a grand possibility. Are you ready? Are you physically, mentally, emotionally, financially ready? Because it's going to scare a lot of people. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to be the one scaring you. No, not me, but other YouTubers will be um, hyping and scaring, mongering people. I believe there's a lot of sleeper cells in the United States. As soon as the United States does something to Iran, I have a feeling the sleeper cells that are inside the United States are going to be activated and they're going to go after Americans. So it's not going to be good times in America. I would say the next week we got to be very cautious and just always have your eyes behind the back of your head. At times, if you're looking forward, always look back. Always pay attention to your surroundings. And especially if you're wearing headphones or earpieces that you're listening to your favorite show, like My Mind Over Your Matter, like make sure you pay attention to your surroundings because we're going to have pretty low level attacks, but we are going to have attacks on individuals here in the United States. It's just I feel it. But without further ado, we do got some news to watch. So let's go ahead and set this up here real quick, and let's get to it.
Trump White House reinforcing its peace through strength agenda overseas and here at home. Today, the president is hosting world leaders for the first Board of Peace meeting
What's up, Bobby?
on the future of Gaza.
Meanwhile, the U.S. military is ramping up its presence in the Middle East as the administration pushes
Got my
Iran
medicine ready.
to abandon its rogue nuclear program. Lucas Tomlinson joins us from Washington with the very latest. Hi, Lucas.
Good morning, Carly and Todd. President Trump will preside over his first ever Board of Peace meeting today in Washington, focused on the future of Gaza. One of the major questions hanging over the meeting is the disarmament of Hamas and who will provide peacekeeping forces. At the White House, there's also a question of funding the reconstruction if Hamas lays down its weapons.
I don't like the fact that we're putting money
will that be sort of the
to
down
rebuild
payment for
Gaza.
much
You
more money?
cannot
You'll
destroy
be
it.
hearing more about
Why
that
are
tomorrow
we
at the meeting.
giving them money
If you
to
recall
build
at the
it?
first meeting when we were in
Israel
Davos,
should pay for it.
Jared Kushner did provide a very detailed PowerPoint
That's
presentation
our boys in the
for the
United States
vision
have
of
to
Gaza,
pay
the
for
reconstruction, and the
shit that
humanitarian
Israel
efforts,
does.
of course, providing local security on the ground. First, you must achieve security to get to prosperity, which is sort of the second part of this plan.
The Board of Peace meets in Washington as the U.S. military buildup in the Middle East continues. The USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier strike group will be in the Mediterranean soon if she didn't pass through Gibraltar last night. Dozens of fighter jets are heading to the region to join naval assets, including F-22 Raptors. Recall these fifth-generation stealth fighter jets arrived in the Middle East just 4 days before Operation Midnight Hammer over the summer. And elite search and rescue assets have already arrived to rescue any downed pilots if necessary. Top national security officials met in the White House Situation Room yesterday.
They're ready to
discuss
go.
planning. The first strikes could take place as soon as this weekend.
Ooh.
Axios reports, quote, a U.S. military operation in Iran would likely be a massive weeks-long
I want to take the weekend off.
that would look more like a full-fledged war than last month's pinpoint operation in Venezuela, sources say. Iran has said it will hold joint exercises with Russian forces in the Gulf of Oman. That puts those forces just a few hundred miles away from the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier strike group on station in the Arabian Sea. Now, today, the Board of Peace meets. In the days ahead, guys, the potential for war with Iran exists. Carly, Todd?
Yeah, and Iran and Russia conducting these exercises together is, of course, no surprise and very, very telling. Lucas Tomlinson, live for us in Washington. Lucas, thank you. Let's bring in Fox News contributor and former CIA station chief Dan Hoffman. Dan, good morning to you. When it comes to Iran, it really does feel like the other shoe could drop at any moment when it comes to a possible military intervention. And to echo what Lucas was saying, Axios did report this yesterday. The Trump administration is closer to a major war in the Middle East than most Americans realize, and it could begin very soon. And they go on to say, with Trump, anything can happen, but all signs point to him pulling the trigger if talks fail. Do you agree with that assessment that we are close to a major war in the Middle East?
Yeah, I think we've made it clear that we have the military assets in the region to strike Iran if necessary. And the key thing is that we're messaging Iran very bluntly that if Iran doesn't come to the negotiating table in good faith, to negotiate, then we are prepared to launch kinetic strikes. I think that's the purpose of all of this public discussion. And if the Iranians are wondering whether President Trump will follow through, they can just rewind the tape and look back to the strike against IRGC Commander Soleimani, or the strikes against Iran's nuclear program, their facilities back in June of 2025.
Yeah, that's a great point. Didn't happen too long ago. And you mentioned kinetic strikes. Here's Senator Ted Cruz yesterday talking to Sean Hannity about what possible military action would look like. Watch this.
President Trump is not an isolationist, but he's also not an interventionist. We are not going to see a ground invasion of Iran. We're not going to see hundreds of thousands of troops on the ground. We're not going to see massive American casualties. But the president is willing to defend American national security interests.
And meanwhile, Dan, the Ayatollah is, of course, doing everything he can to drag these negotiations out and keep the talks ongoing, while also trying to project strength himself, saying any possible military intervention would mean a long, drawn-out regional war. What are Iran's capabilities in doing such a thing right now?
Well, Iran is trying to demonstrate that they have the leverage to strike back at the United States. And they're doing that because they want to limit the scope of the negotiations. What Iran wants to do is talk only about their nuclear program. They want to retain the capability to enrich uranium, which the Trump administration is rightly against. Also, remember that the Trump administration, the first one, withdrew from the JCPOA because it did not address Iran's ballistic missile capability or Iran's material support to proxy terrorists. There were sunset clauses for Iran's nuclear program. We need to deal with all of those things. Iran doesn't want to, and that's why I think Iran is trying to demonstrate, including with these latest military drills with Russia, that they have some military leverage of their own. At the end of the day, I think our military capacity in the region is enough, certainly, to inflict great harm on Iran. But I think we've got war planners in the military with our intelligence community wargaming this out, how these strikes might result in any sorts of Iranian retaliation. I think that's what's ongoing right now in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, still have the largest ballistic missile arsenal in the Middle East and probably growing by the day. But I also want to get to really quickly this Board of Peace meeting that's taking place. I mean, it is historic for a president to create this sort of global body to, rebuild a war zone. But there are still a lot of questions that remain, including Hamas demilitarization and if the next government will be successful in the region. So what can we expect really quickly today and beyond?
Probably a lot of discussion about a strategic plan. Phase one is over, but in phase two, Hamas was supposed to be demilitarized. By all accounts, they've tried to reconstitute. So yes, we've got some peacekeeping forces from Indonesia, reportedly roughly 8,000 at the ready, but there's still some peacemaking to be done. And how we reconstruct Gaza is another question. But I think this is a proof of concept, and we'll see where it goes today.
We sure will. Dan, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your time. Have a good morning.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilby.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.
Go ahead and keep it moving because we got more to watch.
President Trump is warning Iran that he could decide whether to take military action against the country in the next 10 days if Iran doesn't make a deal regarding its nuclear program. CBS's Erica Brown has the latest now from Washington, D.C.
President Trump is weighing action against Iran if no deal is reached to curb the country's nuclear program.
We may have to take it a step further, or we may not. Maybe we're going to make a deal. You're going to be finding out over the next probably 10 days.
CBS News has learned national security officials have presented the president with military options for strikes against Iran. And the president has ordered a buildup of U.S. forces in the region, including the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford. It comes as Iran is carrying out joint military exercises with Russian forces in the region.
We're either going to get a deal or it's going to be unfortunate for them.
Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna and Republican Congressman Thomas Massey plan to force a vote.
It's funny because they're like, oh, we're going to do an exercise. No, they're practicing because they know they're going to get their ass
congressional approval before any military action against Iran. President Trump also announced the U.S. will contribute $10 billion to the Board of Peace as he hosted its first meeting in Washington Thursday. The board was created as part of the brokered peace deal between Israel and Hamas.
We have to get this right. There is no plan B for Gaza. Plan B is going back to war.
No one here wants that.
The
Israel
president
does.
signed fundraising pledges totaling
We don't,
about
but Israel
$7
does.
billion from member states to help with
Oh man, what a
humanitarian
waste of
aid
fucking
and
money, man.
reconstruction in Gaza. Erica
We didn't
Brown,
fucking
CBS
destroy it.
News,
Why the fuck we
Capitol
gotta pay
Hill.
for it? No, man, that's bullshit. Then come back to me, man. That's fucking bullshit. We did not destroy it, so why are we paying for it? Why are we giving them $10 billion? Like, you see how their living conditions are? I don't think they need all that money. Like, where is all this money gonna go to, really? Because it's not gonna go to Gaza. Who's gonna benefit from this money? Because Israel keeps attacking Gaza. So it's never gonna be a peace in that area. It's never. I'm telling you, it will never ever be peace in the Middle East if Israel is like around there. You know, and I think Israel is the problem. You know, as much everybody wants to love Israel, and you know, and I have Israeli friends, and you know, I have Jewish friends, but in reality, at this point, who's starting the bullshit? You know, I mean, Israel is always in a forever war with Jordan. They're in a forever war with now with Gaza. It's been like that forever. They're in forever war with Iran. Like, Israel has no friends around them. And then you wonder why. Because they gave Jesus up to the Romans. And they went, here, Jesus, you're going to go with the Romans and they're going to kill your ass. That's pretty much what they did. And now we have to protect the Jewish people because Jesus walked on their grounds? Are you kidding me? I'm telling you, if Jesus was to come back, he's going to tell everybody, these motherfucking Jews are the ones that fucking killed me. They're the ones that fucking sacrificed me. And I had to come back to prove after 3 days that you can't fucking kill me. Like, it's just, yeah. But history continues to repeat itself. And we continue waiting for Jesus. Jesus is already here. He's already here. And he's watching everything that's going on. And I'm telling you right now, he ain't happy. He ain't happy. And everyone's going to meet him one day. And that's the day when you leave this plane and go to another. And you get back into that frequency. And you know, you get into pretty much like the cell phones and how they communicate in the air. You become part of what's in the air. Because there's a lot of shit in the air. A lot of signals. Because I constantly hear them. Like, it's so loud sometimes, it's annoying. Because it's like a really strong, like, static sound that I hear from back here. It's like that television is back on again. Like from the 80s. Remember when you used to like put the television on low and you hear that little buzzing sound? That's the sound that I hear on a daily basis. And there's a lot of signals, a lot of messaging, a lot of communications flying back and forth nonstop. Fucking text messages, emails, websites, everything is all over in the air. It's all over. We're just, and it goes through our bodies, you know, and that energy goes through us on a daily basis. You know, we got Wi-Fi. Everybody fucking has Wi-Fi at this point. You know, who doesn't have Wi-Fi? You know, the poorest of the poor, the ones that don't have voter ID, they don't have an ID to vote. Those are the people who don't have Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Keep thinking that shit. It's like, what is the purpose of the Democrats? Divide and conquer? That's what they want to do. That's what they always known to do. Like, what is their purpose? I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. Like they want to go full on rainbow bright fucking crazy shit, like Pippi Longstocking shit. Like they want to fucking go crazy, and it's like they're you got the trans going crazy, shooting up on people and killing people, like on a pretty much weekly basis or monthly basis. You know, it's like, what the fuck is going on here? I don't get it. I don't get this world. I really don't. Every day I go to sleep, I wake up, and I try to hope that there's something different and something better for this world and some better news. But no, we go back to falling into the same trap, same mistakes, same bullshit. And it's like wasting time, wasting our brilliancy, like our brains, like we're just wasting it because we stuck on a repeat. We're stuck on repeat. Don't you notice how music is just repeating like the same shit? It's just a different person singing it. It's like they're stuck, you know, and that's one of the biggest problems because there's no more creativity. The creativity is very low, you know. It's very rare we get like Elon Musk or someone not alphabetical programmed. And what I mean by alphabetical program, like, you know, the FBI, CIA, all those 3-letter words, all those, I just add them all together. All the 3-letter words in our government. You know, they control the reality. They control who gets in and who doesn't. You know, who's the successful one and who's gonna be like, you know, just leave them down there. But they pluck you and they get you from a young age, and then they just pull you to the side. You know, they'll have you sit in another portable away from the masses with like 6 other kids in there, and it's like, what the fuck is going on here? You know, but what is the end game? What's the, where do they want to take this? Because everyone's playing chess and they're playing it, but it's like they're kind of stuck. And I feel like we're just stuck on a repeat. Like we're going back and forth on the chessboard, but we're just going back and forth, and we're not progressing. We keep going back and forth, back and forth. I don't know. Where are we gonna go? I don't know. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh no. I think I do this show to punish myself. I think I do this show. It's like my punishment, you know? It's like I gotta watch all this. It's all input. But then it's like it really plays with your emotion. It plays with your feelings. It really makes you feel a certain way. And it's like, I hate stupidity, you know, the stupidity in people, I really truly hate. And it's like, where's the common sense? You know, where's the 1 + 1 = 2? Where is it? They don't even know what sex they are these days. We have 2 sex, male, female. But then if you go to the other side, the left, there's about 1 trillion different sexes. I'm pretty sure they have like a pancake, over medium eggs, bacon, and some toast, and that's their gender. More like fucking scrambled eggs. Motherfuckers, man. I just I'm telling you, I'm recording all this in my mind, and when I go to the other side, you're all in trouble. You're all in trouble. You better hope that I don't die. Because the day I die, this world is going to have a field day with me. Oh, boy. All right, let's keep it moving. Oh, you want to go? You want to call me crazy? We're going to watch Crazy right now. Here we go. The fucking Crazy View. Just listening.
When it comes to the event that happened yesterday, what's so hard for me to witness is people stating that the president is a racist, because I've seen him firsthand. He saved one of my best friend's lives, a black woman who has been with him for 18 years.
He's a racist.
No, he saved her life.
No.
He did.
Okay.
Damn, the view is stupid, man. So stupid, that geek. Alright, I don't want to hear this shit. That's gonna drive me fucking crazy. But I don't want to hear this. I want to hear Trump talk, if anything. They're not gonna let it. They're just gonna put words over. Anyhow, it was a great time yesterday. He was celebrating Black History Month with fellow members, but this idiot here, this Puerto Rican dumb bimbot, I will call her. She's a bimbot. Still calls Trump racist and very, very angry, very mean. And then this one over here, this one here looks like fucking Jabba the Slut. Like, what the hell's going on here? Like, predator, get away. Like, you look like a fucking predator. Like, if you was to come up to me looking like that, I will fucking drop kick you in the motherfucking knees. Especially looking like this. Like, if you were to come up to me looking like this, I would think you're fucking a clown from outer space. And I will fucking kill you with a drop kick. I will fucking drop kick her so hard that her soul will leave her body like the Avengers. Remember when the Hulk got like and his soul came out? Here we go.
Matters earlier today, a grandmother, Felicia Cook, gave a very memorable speech at the White House to mark Black History Month. This is something worth watching.
Thank God for this president.
Thank God.
I am filled. My cup runneth over.
Oh.
Because he allowed his constituents, his people, to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats, get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. Mm-hmm. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. Mm-hmm. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news, hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him.
There you go, girl.
And Grandma said it.
Woo! I just love her. I think the White House should hire her as a spokesperson of some type. She is brilliant. She articulated so much in so few words and in such a powerful fashion.
Yeah, and I think she represents more and more of the Black community, frankly, right? I think there's maybe even a silent majority that thinks along the lines that she does. I mean, for her name should be in the list of all young Black men and women across the country, and not somebody like race grifters like Nicole Hannah-Jones or Ibram X. Kendi. Good for her. And yes, Donald Trump, undoubtedly, Donald Trump saved a lot of Black lives in Washington, D.C. when he called it the National Guard. So good on her. And I'm so glad he brought there.
And you see how Trump put the mic down for her?
The best of the Black community.
That's fucking awesome, man.
I think it's been one of the most underreported stories recently, the fact that there has been a dramatic drop in violent crime in the US in the past 12 months, around 20% drop in the murder rate. And like you said, a lot of that is in blue cities, in areas dominated by Black Americans, and they're the ones whose lives are being saved. And yet there seems to be very little reporting of that at all.
Man, it's true, man. They don't give this guy any fucking credit, man. He could be the best thing this world has, and they still won't give him his flowers. You know what I mean? This guy, the day he's gonna get everyone's respect is when they put him on Mount Rushmore. The day they put him on Mount Rushmore, the indication of the greatest of all greatest. Like it's I can't believe I'm living in this time and I'm fucking witnessing Trump a second term. I survived Biden. 4 years we survived Biden. Like people like that's why I say people are too fucking distracted. They're not paying attention because they're too distracted. They have to worry about their bills. They got to worry about their kids. They got to be worried about work. They got to be worried about what they're going to cook for meals and dinners. And oh my God, I got to shower and shower the kids and do laundry. And you're fucking constantly distracted and you're stuck on your phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you just didn't realize that, congratulations, you fucking survived 4 years of fucking stupidity from the Biden administration. 4 years. And now we're trying to fix what they fucked up, and we're the bad ones. Help me make that make sense. How are we the bad ones? We want to progress. You want to go backwards. You know, and I just... And they're doing it on purpose. And the infiltration is real. The Democratic Party has been infiltrated. You know, follow the money. Follow the money. We can't investigate the Democratic Party and where all the money goes to? Like, are you telling me that the United States, like the government, cannot track where they're sending their money to and making sure that that money is going to what they say is going to? We cannot do that. If we can't, we're fucked. We're fucked. And we're constantly bleeding out money. Like, why are we giving $10 billion to Gaza? That shit between Israel and Gaza is not coming to an end. They're still fighting. It's not reported. But they're still fighting. So that's $10 billion that our the future kids, or the generations in the future, like 3, 4 generations, 5 generations, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generations, keep counting them. They're stuck with this bill, the Gaza bill. I say, Israel, why you don't pay for it? You destroyed it, then help rebuild it. You know what? Let's make it fair. The United States will take back the 10 billion. We'll do 5 billion. Israel, you do the other 5 billion. They're your neighbors. Help your neighbors. Oh, now we're not religious anymore. When it comes to money, fuck like you did with Jesus. Same thing. You sold them. You sold them off. You gave them all to the Romans. Help thy neighbor. Nope. Not Israel. You crazy? They're the ones that fucking killed Jesus. And then they're using him. They're using his story and using, because he walked through here. Like, They're the almighties of the world. Are you kidding me? That's the only reason why you have an atomic weapon. And it's not because you have it. It's because it belongs to the United States. You know? And if Iran wants to play stupid, that's their demise. You know? I wouldn't go against alien technology. The United States is way far advanced in alien technology. But nobody talks about that. Oh, but the aliens are real. Didn't we hear that? Didn't that come from like Obama's mouth? Let me see. I think I have a story talking about that somewhere here. Give me one sec. Here it is. All right, we're gonna go jump right into this. Oh, and this is probably all right. This one's coming from Benny Johnson. All right, let's watch. What is going on? Oh, Trump with the middle finger to Obama. Damn.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. It's approximately 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go ahead and check in on what's trending on my X feed. The truth is out there. This is Peter Ducey with a spaceship alien emoji. What is Fox News saying? Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen evidence of aliens? Trump. Barack Obama gave away classified information.
Chloe, what's up, girl?
What now?
Good thing I'm on my
Fox
way
News,
home.
Peter Ducey.
Are
there aliens? President Trump. Obama gave away classified information. He's not supposed to do that. So are aliens real? Huh? Wait, what now? What now? President Trump issued a warning on Air Force One to Barack Obama, saying Obama's comments about aliens being real is classified. It was a big mistake to speak about classified topics publicly. So Trump is now warning Obama that when he said that aliens are real, that this was
I'm telling you, when we drop off here,
Trump comments on Air Force One.
Y'all don't listen to me.
Also talking about Epstein, but like
I already know
cover that, but
people never listen.
Obama said aliens are real, and Trump said he's not supposed to do that.
I wish
that's
you
all
guys
classified. I've seen it. Whoa, okay, that's nuts. You know, here's like the moment
here.
Obama.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51.
Nice.
They're real.
They're good dashing,
but they're not in Area 51.
Dashing girl.
Oh, so like I know where they are. They're not where you all think they are, and they're real. That's what.
And you got that look that they tip you.
Trump's response, ladies and gentlemen, is breaking.
That's a good
breaking
thing.
The internet. Did Barack Obama give away classified information?
My legs are
that
fucked
answer.
Up. My back is fucked up.
Well,
my
this is
neck
wild.
is fucked up.
It's breaking my timeline.
I can't be getting in my car, out of my car to give people fucking food.
Remarkable.
Out of here. I don't even want to
information right now, but tend to lend towards some type of alien disclosure that's going to happen soon.
No discrimination.
Something that got a lot of
about it.
Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. You know?
So aliens are real.
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. Well, he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, if the president can declassify anything that he wants to, so if you want to make an announcement.
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
We know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals. What else?
All the illegals.
This is an unbelievable clip. Let's break this clip down. So President Trump goes to a rehearsed answer, which he almost never does.
Hold on a second.
Which is
break
that.
This down. Hold on, Benny Johnson. You're going too fast. I know it's your show. It's all good. But look at the color of his tie. It's purple. purple. To be talking about aliens and wearing a purple tie, very, very galactic color, you know, because he usually wears a red tie. Majority of all his time, he's in a red tie. And out of all motherfucking, see, you gotta pay attention, people. Like, don't listen only. Look at the vision. Look at the colors. You know what I mean? When have you ever seen Trump wear a purple tie? Come on. No, I don't. I this is me, my show. Even though I cover a lot of the outside world stuff, but it's still my mind over your matter. And we rarely see, like, I'm wearing the boss hoodie tonight because I'm the boss tonight. Usually I will have Tyson here with me, but I'm not bringing back Tyson until I reach 1,000 subscribers. And I'm gonna do this ground roots. If it takes me a whole motherfucking year to do it, listen, that's when Tyson will come back onto the show. I talked to him. I told him, you know, it's not no. Listen, he's doing great. He has like close to 140,000 subscribers. Okay, he's doing fine. I'm here with 547, creeping up to the 550 mark. I think a lot. I think the Pokemon, really, because the Pokemon videos have been helping the daily videos. Because if you've been noticing, I've been putting these videos out daily. Pokemon daily. Really get into it. It's fun, you know. It's fun opening the packs and experiencing it and recording it. I wish I would have had this type of technology when I was little. I wish when I was young, dumb, working at the card shop, I wish I would have had this right here. I wish I would have had this, because this right here would have I would have been super famous. I would have had this recording everything that I've done in my life, and I would have been probably famous right now. Especially the famous people that I know. Oh, Rick, you know famous people? Yeah, I know a few of them. Nothing to like, but they're people. You know, we put them in this pedestal. We push them to like, oh my god, it's Lisa. Oh, I love Lisa. Oh my god, it's Lisa. I had Lisa sitting next to me at a baseball game, and we were sitting in the skybox. And the reason how I got to that point, and I wish I would have had this, because my friend Rick, same name as me, Rick and Rick, we were good friends, and he was the head choreographer for Lisa, the head choreographer. And they were in town. He called me. I didn't call him. He called me. He said, "Hey, what's up, Rick?" I say, "Oh shit, what's up, Rick? What's going on?" It's like, "Yo, you want to come over and watch the baseball game here?" I go, "What, the Marlins?" I'm like, "Yeah, why? Like what?" It's like, "Come over and we get to chill in the skybox and stuff, and we'll hang with Lisa." I was like, "I'm on my way. Let me take a shower. Let me get ready." Like the boss. Wait, hold on. Boss. Oh goodness gracious. Got ready, went in the car, drove to the stadium. I got there early, of course, because my friend called me early. I was like, thank God, I had gotten out of work. And I was like, he called me, he's like, yo, you want to go to the game? I was like, oh, fuck yeah. And I'm sitting next to Lisa. All right, hell yeah. Because I've seen her before many times. I've met her before. It's not like I didn't see her sing before. I was sitting in the fucking front row watching her and Stevie B and all these like legends of like it's just Lisa was really cool. Shaka Khan was really cool. All the freestyle artists were really cool. Like I met a lot of freestyle artists. I was like, holy shit, Stevie B. Like him and like his whole group. He had like 30, like 20, 30, like 20 people, I think, with him. Like a whole group of people. And Lisa was sitting next to me and she's like, oh, that he's bringing his whole clan. I go, what do you mean? He's like, he has family out here, so he brought everybody. I was like, oh, you gotta meet everybody. She's like, yo. I was like, all right. And then she got up. She was smiley. She went say hi to Stevie and everybody, the whole family. I was sitting there. I was just laughing. Rick came over, sat next to me. He's like, "Yeah, having a good time." I was like, "I'm having a great time talking to Lisa." Like, it's raining because the game. It was funny because I told Lisa, I looked at the weather. I don't think you're performing tonight. She looked at me. She's like, "Are you for real?" I was like, "Don't even practice," because she was like, "Head to toe." No. I was like, no head to toe. Listen, did you get the check? She's like, yeah, they gave me the check before I came into the suite. I was like, good. Don't give it back. He's like, why? You ain't singing tonight, girl. So you make sure you don't get that check back. She's like, no, that's mine. I was like, good, because you got a makeup day. So you got to come back and sing again. It's like, I was like kind of like her manager there for a second. I was like, I made sure she got the check. I swear to God, if I ever get her back on here, if I ever get to talk to Lisa again, which I could probably do, all I gotta get in touch is with my friend Rick, and I'm pretty sure I may have his number here. Let me see. Because I changed phones, and I don't know if I still have that number. And I don't know if he changed it. That's another thing. But yeah, you see, I don't think I have it here. Oh, but I'll be able to find them. I'll be able to find them. I think I have them on my Facebook. I don't even go to Facebook. But I think I have him in there. What's his last name? Fuck. I gotta remember his last name. It'll come to me later. I'm just smoking right now. I'm high. And I'm reminiscing my time with Lisa. It was so funny. I hope she remembers. Like, girl, remember when it was raining? It was pouring. I told you wasn't gonna perform that night. I said not to practice and make sure you had your check. Oh, she's gonna laugh. She's gonna laugh. She's like, damn, Rick, you've been doing this? I was like, yeah. Unsuccessfully. A lot of people don't watch, but it's okay. The few that do, they'll benefit. I just been so caught up with the news and watching the news and and just the ones that come through, I appreciate them, and we watch the news together because it's very informative. It's good to see what the fuck is going on and know what the fuck is going on. And a lot of people don't watch, then I'm gonna force you to watch if you can watch my channel. But this is still my show. I still am a live person here. I'm not an NPC. I stay quiet majority of the time because it really does save me from talking so much, and I do get a lot of pain in my throat, And I had a night fucking surgery. I had a 2-level fusion, so I got a lot of metal in there. So it's not great to be like talking. But yeah, man, I'm gonna see. I'm trying to remember his name. I might be able to find him when we start this thing. I'm gonna see if I can find him. Scavenger hunt. I'm gonna say, yo, if I get a hold of him and somehow I find him and get a hold of him, I'm like, yo, Rick, listen, I need a favor. It's like, what? I was like, yo, can I have Lisa come on to my show and we just talk for a bit? Like, I just want like maybe like 15 minutes of her life. Does she have like 15 minutes for me? He's gonna say, hell yeah, she liked you. And he told me that. He's like, Lisa really likes you. I go, oh, thank you. I appreciate it, man. I'm cool people. I met the Marlins, like the players during that time, because I was at the backstage. So we were in the green room, and the media had came in, was talking to Lisa. I sat in the table on the side there, and then like the Marlins players started coming in and dapping up on everybody, and I met a whole bunch of players and got some gear. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I appreciate it. Like Rick was like, yeah, I don't even know who the fuck these people are. My friend Rick is like, I don't know who the fuck these people are, but he was real cool people, man. I gotta get a hold of him. He's gonna freak out if I ever talk to him. He's like, oh my god, Rick, what's up? But maybe I could bring Lisa on here. Maybe I could make it part of my I guess New Year's resolution, right? How many people are keeping up to their resolutions from the new year? It's February 19th. How many people kept up to their resolutions? Oh, you don't want me to question y'all. Because this show could like come right back to me, and I'll make this show really, really interesting. But that'll be a great thing to have her. And just do a show. I don't care if I have one person watching. I'll tell Lisa, listen, I was told a long time ago from a sensory priestess that actually told my friend Katie and told her friend that was with her and Kathy. So Kathy, okay, and they came to me because they were into Santeria and Centuria, and they're like the head witch, I guess, like because they were going there for training. It was like a facility that they went, and they were like being trained to be santos and get into Santeria and get into that, like wearing all white and being pure and like all this whatever. So told my friend that, first of all, this is crazy because they're like, who are you talking about? Because they were like, which friend? Because they had a lot of friends, right? Because my friend Katie, she has a lot of fucking friends. So she was like, who are you talking about? Like, who? She was so intrigued into finding out who. And she goes, Katie goes to the centaur priestess and tells her, like who? And the centaur priestess says, listen, he drives a red car. He's brown skinned, and his name is Rick. I swear to God. Like, I'll die, like my mom will die right now. I bet on my mom, me, my sister, my niece, my whole generation will die just like right now. If I'm lying. Some real shit from a sensory priest that says they need to listen to him. He knows they need to listen to him. They came to my home. I was in the shower, taking a shower, I just got home from work. All right. And at the time, my ex went to the door, opened the door, and they came in. They were talking. I'm getting ready. Like, I'm like drying off. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy to be home and done from work. And I was like ready, ready to chill. Next thing you know, like I'm coming out of the room, and then Katie comes to me. It's like, oh, I gotta talk to you. I was like, what? And I was like, and then Kathy came on. She was like, what's going on? So like, look, we're gonna come to you, talk to you one at a time, and we're gonna tell you what they told us. Okay. I was like, okay. I was like, all right. So where you want to talk? So like, all right, let's go to the balcony. So I was like, we're gonna go to the balcony, and then I'm there. I'm just standing there. Listen, like she closes the door, and she's like, all right, listen. We just came from the sensory pieces, like where I was going for my classes, and the head witch pulled us to the side, like the head sensory pieces pulled us to the side, and pulled me to the side, and told me that that you have something, that you know a lot, and you see things, you hear things, like you're very special. And like if you have any, like if I have anything to tell them, and they'll listen. I'm like, what? I was like, I'm fucking tired. I just got home from fucking work. I'm not ready for this shit. I haven't even smoked yet. Okay. Like, I was like, but she was like, no, but they told us, like, she's like, she fucking told me your car. She told me your skin color. She told me your name. I was like, what? It's like, yep. I was like, and it's like you hear things, you see things, and not only that, but people need to be listening to you. Like people don't listen to you, and people should be listening to you because you know things, you see things. And she's like, "You're special." And I'm like, "Thank you." Okay. So where's Kathy? She's gonna tell me the same thing. She's like, "Let her come." So Kathy comes. Katie goes inside, and then Kathy goes, "Holy shit, Rick!" I'm like, "No, I already know." She was like, "Holy shit, Rick!" I was like, "Girl, I don't know what's going on. I haven't smoked yet. You want to smoke?" She's like, "Yes, I need one." So I went back inside. I rolled up a joint. I started smoking inside my place because I was living in the second floor of a townhouse. It was like apartments, but it was like a townhome. And there was actually it was apartments. It was 3 stories, and this was in Miramar, Florida. And sometimes I'll smoke outside, but if it's late at night, I'll smoke outside. But I respect other people, so I smoke inside. So she started talking to me from the room. She closed the door, and then we started talking. And she was like, "Yeah, man." She was saying that people need to listen to you, and like like a lot of stuff. You see shit. You know things, like when things are gonna happen. You feel it, like it's like you're gifted. And I was like, all right, yeah, I know. I see things all the time. I hear things. I was like, I told her, and I told her like ever since I was little, I used to see things, hear things, like know things, and see spirits, and very, very like very in touch like with the paranormal. So yeah, true story, man. Crazy. And that I could get confirmation if I ever wanted to. Because all it takes is a fucking phone call. All I gotta do is call my ex and be like, yo, can you have Katie call me? I just want to talk to her for a sec, and maybe, I could get her on, do a show so she could watch. Like she could I could bring her onto the show, and then hopefully do a show and question her about that. Because I like to come with receipts. I love to come with receipts. Let's see. Oh damn, Chloe, I wasn't ignoring you, girl. I was in the Lisa, and then I went to I went to my friend and all this stuff with the Sensoria stuff, and look, I got a third eye mask, and I got some Sensoria candles here because I went to New Orleans and I went to a Sensoria priestess, and had a reading done, and they even told me too how gifted I was. Like they were like looking at me, and the guy kept looking at me like this. He's like, you are very gifted, very special. He's like, he kept shaking his head like, wow, like I paid for this, and this guy is like, you should be doing me a reading. I'm like, yeah, that's where I got this mask from. My third eye mask. And then if you don't notice these candles here, these are very special candles. Maybe in the future I'll light them up. Maybe if I get Lisa on here. Go with the confirmations. Like, oh Lord, if I bring Lisa on here, you imagine? Oh my God. Maybe I'll get some attention. They were like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I was like, yeah. She was cool people, man. I had a great conversation with her. Like she imprinted on me, that we were stuck in there for like almost like what, 5 hours? Like we were there for the whole duration of the rain and like the game, and it just, we couldn't go anywhere, anything, because it was so pouring. It was coming down like the heavens opened up, and it was just like flooded the field. Like everything was just like, I knew she wasn't gonna sing. I go, girl, you ain't singing. Don't don't even practice. I go, you got that check? Oh my God. Listen, man. I had a good life, I known a lot of people. I had a good friend of mine. He was a plastic surgeon. He was a dermatologist, plastic surgeon, a really good plastic surgeon out of Miami. And he worked out of Miami and off of the Cayman Islands. And he used to go to the Cayman, and a lot of like his people would go to the Caymans to do the surgery. Like they would do like liposuction, or I don't know, my camera's like zooming in, liposuction, which is probably the thing, and breast enhancements and stuff like that. And he did plastic surgery. If you ever watched Nip Tuck, have you ever watched that series? That's basically what my friend used to do. Yeah, my friend Wayne. But had a fucking beautiful house, like beautiful mansion on the beach. He had a really beautiful mansion on the beach, and he has a home all over the place, Costa Rica, in the Caymans. He had a lot of homes everywhere. His partner had died. He drowned, and I had to like console my friend because his partner passed away. Well, husband passed away, and it was just very traumatic. And I knew the person too, which was like fucked up. And went to that funeral and went to the service. Someone really did a bad job on the makeup on my friend. I was like, I'm being cremated. I told my friend that. He was like, oh my God. He knew too it was a bad, but whatever. Yeah. I used to go out on the boat, on the jet skis. Used to do all that stuff. Before I broke my neck. When I broke my neck, my life like completely changed. I had a Miami life. I was living in Miami. All right. Your alternator went out. Oh no. So what did he do? Because the alternator's not a. Did he get it replaced or something? I ain't got no ticket money this week. I'm driving like a good girl. Okay. You don't got no ticket money? Yeah, driving like a good girl. Yeah, but you don't need to be speeding. Yeah, you're right. What the fuck? 7% dwindling. Oh no. Wait, but it's like 8:30. That was a long time ago. Oh shit. Okay, friend, gotta go. See ya when I get home. If you're still alive. I got a long ass. I got so much. I got so much for us. I went into my Mind Over Your Matter. I went to the proper show when we talk and I talk and reminisce of all my stuff that I used to do. You know, a lot of things. I witnessed a lot of things. I seen a lot of things. I lived the Miami life. Miami was crazy. Damn. Oh, I remember my friend's name. His last name. But I don't have him on my phone. I wonder if he's on my old phone. I don't know. I wonder why it's not on my phone. That's crazy. Well, I did switch phones, and I have the other one over there. But I've been through so many different phones. I don't know if his number got like if they transferred over. Damn, I'm gonna have to check. But I'll figure it out. But I remember his last name, so I could always look him up. I haven't used Facebook in such a long time. I have not. I'm gonna reach out to him. Let me see. And be like, "Yo, Rick." He's like, "Oh shit, what's up, man?" I already know. We were cool people, man. We were cool. He just got really busy. You know, he opened up a dance studio. You know, teaching others how to dance and teaching the public how to dance out of New York City. You know, so I don't intrude in people's lives like that. You know, they got things they got to take care of. You know, I'm not. I know. You know your role. What does the Rock used to say? Know your role and shut your mouth. Oh Lord, I tell you. All right, let's get back to the news. Let's like jump off of me. It's back to Benny Johnson. All right, let's go back to Benny. I forgot we were watching Benny. We went into Rick's show, not the Benny show. But let's go back to the news.
Barack Obama is in trouble for giving away classified information.
Supposed to be doing that.
He's not supposed to be doing that.
Well, I don't know if
And
they're
Donald
real or
Trump
not.
says Donald Trump was asked the obvious follow-up, so aliens are real. And Trump goes, Barack Obama just said they're real, and he's not supposed to say that.
No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it.
Then he says, I never talk about it. Well, of course, because it's classified. Obviously, that's implicit in his last comment. But then Trump says something remarkable. Look at Caroline Leavitt's expression here. That's what I think is perhaps most important. Caroline Leavitt's expression. You can see that she's like, uncomfortable. She's biting her bottom lip on that. See?
Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, it's the president.
So then he's projecting, right? So now he like throws the question back in Peter Ducey's
He can
face.
declassify anything that he wants to.
Well,
So if you
maybe I'll
want to
get
make
him out
an
of trouble.
announcement,
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
we know illegal aliens are real.
Yeah, illegal. Only illegals.
So then Trump makes a joke out of it, but then he says something really telling here. I might get Obama out of trouble. Who said Obama was in trouble? He must be in trouble with someone for saying aliens are real, because the way Trump is acting here is like wild. Trump saying like, no, Obama's in big trouble. I may get him out of trouble by declassifying if aliens are real. Meaning Obama stepped in it and I could declassify it and I could prove something. This keeps getting better and better. Wild, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's pop on back in over here and see, because like this has been an insane news cycle. We've obviously told you that President Trump and his administration has regularly talked about, let's just call them space-age weaponry. You know, the theory here is that like, extraterrestrials, spiritual entities, whatever, made contact with America, have exchanged weapons with weapons and technology with the superpowers of the world in order to live among us or whatever, That's kind of the running theory. And Trump's been talking a lot about space-age weaponry that nobody knows about, right? For instance, this clip.
This country is very powerful. Let me tell you, it's far more powerful than people understand. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is.
Weaponry where nobody has any idea what it is what Donald Trump says. Then he goes and uses the discombobulator on Venezuela. He says nobody else has it, and they like melted the brain of Nicolas Maduro's Venezuelan guards. Okay. Obama gave away classified information on aliens. Is it the distraction playbook? We've been talking about this, obviously. I don't know. Is it distraction from the Epstein scandal? Donald Trump saying it's too bad for the royal family. Very bad, because I've been totally exonerated. Ladies and gentlemen, this is wild news cycle. And then just yesterday, you have Laura Trump saying that Donald Trump has a speech prepared.
No, because Miranda, we all want to know about the UFOs, or we all want to know what's going on. And he played a little coy with us. And so that, of course, led us to believe, Eric and I were like, oh my gosh, if he won't even like fully tell us, maybe there's more to it. And then I have just heard kind of around that, I think he's actually said, I think my father-in-law has actually said it, that there is some speech that he has that I guess at the right time, and I don't know when the right time is, he's going to break out and talk about, and it has to do with maybe some sort of extraterrestrial life, so to speak. I just, I look at things from the perspective of the vastness.
Okay. So Laura Trump there is predictive programming, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
The seriousness at which Trump took the commentary from Barack Obama has really struck me. This is wild. Trump says,
yeah, because they could be.
In the comment section, it's your boy Benny.
That's crazy.
Get ready. I'm telling you, get ready. They're gonna pull the alien. They're gonna pull the aliens card soon.
Oh Lord.
So, yeah.
Are we doing that? Are we going with that playbook? Look, I'm already in space. You see the stars passing by? Oh, Lord. It's going to be a long night. I got to set up a few things here. There's a couple of add-ons. I took a good chunk of the show talking about me, which was interesting. It was fun. I like reminiscing. It plays in my head. It's like a replay in my head. One sec. I'm trying to get this. There's a couple of important ones that popped up. One that's a creepy one that I'm gonna have to put a disclaimer and tell you guys when I'm gonna play it because it's not a good video. It's not a good video. And I'm contemplating on playing it on here. If I do, I'll probably do it slow motion. So it doesn't like traumatize you. Like it's very traumatizing. Okay. But I hope everyone's having a good night or good morning or afternoon wherever you're located. If you're rewatching, thank you. I appreciate you guys rewatching. I got something here. I gotta read up. I still have that problem with the sound on the show. I still have that problem. And it's messed up the show because I have to restart everything and show this all over again. Okay, here we go.
I've always heard peace in the Middle East is impossible, and it's turned out not to be. And we do have some work to do with Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
Breaking today, Russia taking part in joint naval drills with Iran as the United States moves naval assets into the Middle East region and gathers the most air power there since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. In moments, State Department spokesperson Tommy Pickett, but first to our chief national security correspondent, Jennifer Griffin. She's here with us in Washington, and this is a big deal that's shaping up, Jen.
It certainly feels that way, John. It's a bit surreal seeing the juxtaposition of President Trump presiding over the Board of Peace while preparing for war in the Middle East. The U.S. is engaged in the largest military buildup since the eve of the Iraq War. In the Strait of Hormuz, Iranian state television aired footage of a joint Iran-Russia live-fire naval drill, which included vessel raids and ship seizures. Iran also sent a notice to airmen not to fly over Iranian airspace during the drills, which could include cruise missiles. The Pentagon has deployed more than 120 warplanes to the Middle East, including 50 in the past 48 hours. This includes 48 F-15 fighter jets, 18 stealth F-35s, 22 KC-135 refueling tankers needed to form an air bridge, and a squadron of F-22 Raptors. 6 are now en route to the UK after having to turn back to their base for technical reasons yesterday. The total number of E-3 Sentry AWACS deployed to the region, 6. Sending the AWACS marks a significant change in strategic posture. It's an all-weather airborne warning and control system with an integrated command and control battle management to provide an accurate real-time picture of the battle space for the Joint Air Operations Center. All eyes now are on the USS Ford aircraft carrier strike group, which is nearing the Strait of Gibraltar, but still a few days from the Eastern Mediterranean. Its final destination is undetermined. Should it be ordered closer to Iran, it would have to pass through the Suez Canal, which would delay it by days or weeks. Or it could stay in the Eastern Med to protect Israel. Iran's atomic energy chief said today, Iran won't back down, adding no country can deprive Tehran of its nuclear enrichment rights. President Trump told the Board of Peace he expected a response from Iran's negotiating team in the next 10 days. Plane spotters in Israel have reported seeing an unmarked plane landing with U.S. Special Operations Forces. What we are not seeing, John, is a buildup of U.S. land forces that would indicate a ground invasion like we saw before the Iraq War in 2003. John?
But certainly lots of naval and air power. Jennifer Griffin Force with the update. Jennifer, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
That
Hey,
is
click here to
wild.
subscribe to Fox News YouTube.
Well, I didn't want to come on over the weekend. I don't know if it's going to happen. You know, I think if something's going to happen, it's going to happen before he gives the, I guess, the State of the Union type of speech that's supposed to be set up for next week. Yeah. Well, I don't think the person died, so we could show this video. This is gonna scare you, okay? This was called Pay Attention. Here we go. All right, now I'm gonna make this a little bit big so you can watch. It's gonna scare you, okay? I'm just gonna let you know. I'm gonna hit play. Here we go.
It was the first pickup of the school day. Then,
I hit the button.
breathtaking video taken by a witness captures the moment a man in a Jaguar rams into the back of a Lee County school bus.
Drinking my coffee, I heard a boom, and it was very loud. We saw the children walking to the bus 15 minutes prior to this happening.
Somehow, that Jaguar driver survived the crash on US 41 in front of the Sun Retreats Estero Bay.
We think the driver would have been head cut off because his car literally went under the bus. So it was a terrible situation.
A woman walking down this path saw a car underneath the school bus. Her immediate thoughts were somebody might not make it out alive. Then she gave the driver ice after he got out of the vehicle.
He had a thing on his pinky, and I gave him some ice, and he was a little scattered, which I would figure after something like that.
3 kids were just a few feet away from the stopped bus when this happened.
I am super grateful that no kids were on the bus. I'm super grateful that
He survived.
Here is video of the bus being lifted and the car being pushed out. Both drivers came out of this scene with minor injuries. Traffic was backed up for about 2 hours.
He survived. He better be, yeah, lucky, very lucky.
I was murdered. You were murdered. Okay, you obviously weren't murdered because you're alive and you're basically intact. You weren't murdered.
I know that.
Okay, I know Tucker Carlson. I like Tucker Carlson. He was my boss at one point. He's only ever been good to us on this program. I've learned a lot from him, actually. And, you know, along with millions and millions of Americans who really revere the guy. And so let me tell you something that you already know about Tucker is that he uses colorful language and he's very energetic and he, you know, he feels the world in big, bright colors, right? And so that's like the drama of Tucker is what makes him so entertaining, quite frankly. And there's a lot of drama around Tucker just like all the time because that's the kind of person that he is. And he attracts that. And it's always been like that. You can go back, you know, all the way back to the days when he had shows on CNN or ABC or NBC or MSNBC. I mean, there was a time when Tucker Carlson was live on MSNBC, you know? And so these are just, you know, it is what it is. These are kinetic personalities that we're dealing with. And I say all that to say this, it just might color this story a bit, okay? Because yesterday we covered that Tucker Carlson had been detained by the nation of Israel at a border checkpoint, effectively. So here's what happened. Tucker Carlson flew into Israel to do an interview with Mike Huckabee. Mike Huckabee is a guy who I don't believe deserves to be the U.S. ambassador to Israel. The reason why is that he met with a known spy who stole millions of documents from America and American intel sources and then handed those documents over to Israel. He got put in prison here in America. As soon as he got out, he was like flown, I think on Bibi Netanyahu's private jet, over to Israel, was given a hero's welcome. It's totally evil what the guy did. Anyway, Mike Huckabee hosted him at the U.S. Embassy. That's wrong. Some of the ways that Christians have been treated in Israel is wrong, right? It's immoral. And Tucker Carlson went there to do an interview with Mike Huckabee. I think the interview drops tomorrow. That's what I've heard. Anyway, here's a photo of Tucker Carlson with his business partner, Neil Patel, in Israel. They're at the airport. You can see that they're at the airport here, the fencing and so on. And all the reports say that they didn't really leave the airport. They did the interview there and then left. But upon leaving, Tucker Carlson called the Daily Mail, according to this report, and said, you know, they detained me. They took my passport and they asked me what I talked with Mike Huckabee about. Here's Tucker Carlson's exact quote here. Men who identified themselves as airport security took our passports, hauled our executive producer into a side room, then detained and demanded to know what we spoke to Ambassador Huckabee about. Carlson told the Daily Mail, it was bizarre. Now we're out of the country. prior to the interview, Tucker Carlson posted this photo there at the airport. Anyway, Tucker has frequently criticized Israel, its military, and Gaza, and was there to interview Mike Huckabee, the U.S. ambassador. So this shocked many people and made many people very angry, myself included, because of course, obviously, obviously, an American citizen has every right to interview an American ambassador without being harassed, cajoled, or threatened, especially by allies, right? Okay. What I covered yesterday was two things. What Tucker said, and then the Israeli response, because the Israeli response, and this is the verified government account, foreign ministry, and then a bunch of other like Israeli ambassadors and prime ministers are like, this account's trash, didn't happen. Okay. Israeli airport security. Contrary to reports, Tucker Carlson and his entourage were not detained, delayed, or interrogated. Carlson and his party were politely asked a few routine questions in accordance with the standards and procedures applied to the travelers. The conversation took place in a separate room with a VIP lounge solely to protect the privacy, to avoid conducting such discussion in public. No unusual incident occurred. Israeli Airports Authority rejects the claim. Okay. We just want to be fair and cover both sides, and that just is what it is. Many people saying that Tucker was fearing for his life, that he might have been even killed in Israel, and, should never have gone to Israel, right? MTG freaking out and losing their minds. We won't tolerate this. And we just said, release the video. We said yesterday, release the footage. So here it is. Now it's been released, and you can judge for yourself. But I can tell you this, certainly doesn't seem threatening. The video, what you'll see in this video, let's play it, and I'll play it for you in just a second, but you'll see Tucker Carlson and Neil Patel, again, his business partner, speaking with one Israeli government agent who hands them back their documents, presumably their passports, and then takes a selfie with Tucker. Whoa, that's interesting. So what is this exactly? Here's the full clip, or at least the clip that's been released. So I advise you, this has been released to somebody. Ollie London, got nothing against this person. Somebody who is constantly banging on, about how great Israel is. Nothing wrong with that. People get on the payroll and social media influence, big industry. But this was released, and I would just say that it's just a 20-second clip. So I'm not saying that this is the full clip, but in this clip, what you can see is clearly the airport scanner. They're clearly inside of an airport. You can see on the wall a list of prohibited items you're not allowed to take into Israel. And you'll see a very friendly interaction instead of an intimidating interrogation. This is indistinguishable, heavy accented speak by the airport agent. Can you take my picture, he says. Picture taken by, again, Neil Patel, this Tucker's business partner. And Tucker gathers some of his things and then walks back, presumably to sort of check out and leave the country. Now, this is all that's been said. This is all that we have. So who knows what else? I'm saying that it could, there could be other footage, but in this video, what this video shows, and it's going viral now, is that Tucker Carlson was treated quite friendly, in a very friendly manner by the airport security. That's what the video shows. I mean, dude, there's no other way to explain this. If you're being roughed up by a bunch of by a bunch of goons, I'm not going to ask you for selfies, most likely. So anyway, what's the internet saying about this? I'm sure you know. Wow, what the F is this, says Tim Pool. Ollie London, who broke the footage, Tucker Carlson's lies unmasked after he's seen hugging Israeli airport staff and posing for photos and selfies. Despite being detained and hauled off by security, Carlson appeared in great spirits. You can hear him laughing. Tel Aviv Ben Gurion, VIP airport, posing for photos with staff members. Tucker stopped for a selfie while being detained. What a clown he turned out to be. Tucker Smollett, people are calling him Tucker Thunberg. Wow, so not an international incident, really getting tired of the drama. vehicle for clout. This is now Meghan Markle quality publicity setup. Tucker also chased through the streets of New York by dogged yet invisible paparazzi. Okay. Mike Huckabee joining in on sort of the dunking here. Laura Loomer saying that the Daily Mail writer of this story was somebody who worked for Tucker Carlson. Used to work for Tucker Carlson. Mike Huckabee joining in. I don't like it. Of course, Tucker Carlson, Greta Thunberg's of Jesse Smollett. I don't like it. I don't like it. Blink twice if you're under duress, Tucker. My takeaway on this is this is what I called for. Just release the footage. So they released the footage. So how am I supposed to be angry at that? I can tell you this. Just doesn't seem like they've released all of it. But if this was all that happened, then it certainly doesn't seem particularly aggressive or out of the ordinary. So there we go. Problem solved. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Glad everyone is safe. We're glad nobody went to war. Okay? We know they like starting wars in this part of the earth. So very glad nobody went to war over this. Well done. I still, no matter what, look forward to Tucker's interview with Mike Huckabee. We'll be watching. See ya.
Let's continue. All right, I got to resize this one real quick. Is Trump going to Georgia fast food chain? Let's check this out. Oh, we got to put the volume. Hold on.
Spoke to you a long time on that, right?
Oh, yes.
You get treated good?
Oh, yes.
I'm talking to the boss.
I know.
I'm going to ask my guys, I'm totally serious. Get some hamburgers. I got to make a speech. Come back, and we're going to eat you, and we'll have them warmed up. Air Force One is nice warming. We can warm it around. We can do anything on Air Force One.
45 years.
45 years.
24 years.
You're too young for that. Come on, wait.
Oh my God. Trump is like at the register? Wow. Oh.
Trump, can you replace Biden's signature for me?
I know exactly what that is. I will. Thank you.
Thank you, President Trump,
That guy did to this country.
for sending troops to Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you.
Mike Collins. Ready for the announcement? Yes, he's an awesome guy. He is a good guy. We love it. Mike Collins. Mike Collins. Mike Collins is going to win. That's great. Thank you, sir. It's why I have decided we appreciate everything you've done. President Trump, you sign right now. Nice job. You know, he's a hard man.
Thank you, everybody.
We love you. We love you.
Trump. This is Trump different than you, Phil? Trump. Trump. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, President. Thank you. No tax on gifts.
Yes.
No tax on overtime. Did that matter?
Yes.
She's worked here for almost 50 years.
Yes.
And she paid tax for all those years of those tips, right? Really? But not anymore. No more tax on tips. Thank you, everybody.
Wow.
Thank you, everybody.
But the left is gonna say, oh Lord, I clicked on this.
I've always heard people.
Hold on, we already watched this one, but let's move this forward and let's bring it to me. Funny story, I signed on to my Facebook in over 10 years. I signed on today. And first person I hit follow is my friend Rick. I'm gonna shoot him a message and start communications. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna get 1,000 subscribers organically. Okay, it's nice. It was a nice run for as long as it did last. It was a good shit. I've been on YouTube for 18 years. 18 years. I didn't start going live until what um I would say 10 years about. So it's a long ride, but I'm gonna hit up. I'm gonna send him a message. Um, I'm gonna send him a message. Let me see. Not now. Let me see if I could. I don't know what's. I gotta see how I could follow on here. I don't know how to do it. I haven't been. Facebook has changed so much. I'm not. It's just changed so much. So I don't know how to work Facebook. Wait a minute. I don't know how to work Facebook. I need like Facebook for Dummies. Yeah. Let me see. I don't know how this to work this. Okay. Let me see if I can send them a message. I'm doing this live. I'm gonna get 1,000 subscribers. You'll see. Let me see if I get a whole. How do I do this? I gotta go to my friends. Got a lot of old friends on here. Holy shit. It's a lot of people that I don't even want to get a hold of. The link you follow broken or the page. What do you mean? This doesn't make any sense. Oh, so I gotta get the app. I was trying to do it from my like through the site, like, but I guess you have to. How does this shit work? I don't know how to work this fucking Facebook shit. Okay, I had to send a friend request. Yeah, because he wasn't on my Facebook. That would be a good interview. That would be a great interview. He's a head choreographer. He's a dancer. He dances. He has a dance studio. He's like really cool people. He was in the Marines. He was like in the Marines for like I think like 5 years, 5.5 years. Cool people. Friend of mine. Gotta get in touch with him. I sent him a friend request, so I'll see. He'll send me. He'll send it back. I don't know how this works, so I'll wait till I get a response. I guess that's how it works. Get the Messenger app. It's telling me keep getting the Messenger app. Why it keeps telling me to get that? Stay up to date with chats and friends, groups, and marketplace on Messenger. So it keeps sending me to the Messenger. It wants me to download the Messenger. That's what it's trying to do. It's trying to get me to download the Messenger. I don't know. All right, so we're gonna keep going to the show. I'm trying to figure this. I sent him a friend request, so hopefully, I'll get a response. Let me sign off of this shit because I don't want to be in there. Okay, I guess I'm done with this. Okay. All right, I guess I'm done with it. I'm not sure. Hold on. Sure. Yeah, I don't think I just got to figure this shit out. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's go to the next show. Let's see what we got here. All right.
I've always heard peace in the Middle East is impossible, and it's turned out not to be. And we do have some work to do with Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
Breaking today, Russia taking part in joint naval drills with Iran as the United States moves naval assets into the Middle East region and gathers the most air power there since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. In moments, State Department spokesperson Tommy Pickett, but first to our chief national security correspondent, Jennifer Griffin. She's here with us in Washington, and this is a big deal that's shaping up, Jen.
It certainly feels that way, John. It's a bit surreal seeing the juxtaposition of President Trump presiding over the Board of Peace while preparing for war in the Middle East. The U.S. is engaged in the largest military buildup since the eve of the Iraq War. In the Strait of Hormuz, Iranian state television aired footage of a joint Iran-Russia live-fire naval drill, which included vessel raids and ship seizures. Iran also sent a notice to airmen not to fly over Iranian airspace during the drills, which could include cruise missiles. The Pentagon has deployed more than 120 warplanes to the Middle East, including 50 in the past 48 hours. This includes 48 F-15 fighter jets, 18 stealth F-35s, 22 KC-135 refueling tankers needed to form an air bridge, and a squadron of F-22 Raptors. 6 are now en route to the UK after having to turn back to their base for technical reasons yesterday. The total number of E-3 Sentry AWACS deployed to the region, 6. Sending the AWACS marks a significant change in strategic posture. It's an all-weather airborne warning and control system with an integrated command and control battle management to provide an accurate real-time picture of the battle space for the Joint Air Operations Center. All eyes now are on the USS Ford aircraft carrier strike group, which is nearing the Strait of Gibraltar, but still a few days from the Eastern Mediterranean. Its final destination is undetermined. Should it be ordered closer to Iran, it would have to pass through the Suez Canal, which would delay it by days or weeks. Or it could stay in the Eastern Med to protect Israel. Iran's atomic energy chief said today, Iran won't back down, adding no country can deprive Tehran of its nuclear enrichment rights. President Trump told the Board of Peace he expected a response from Iran's negotiating team in the next 10 days. Plane spotters in Israel have reported seeing an unmarked plane landing with U.S. Special Operations Forces. What we are not seeing, John, is a buildup of U.S. land forces that would indicate a ground invasion like we saw before the Iraq War in 2003. John?
But certainly lots of naval and air power. Jennifer Griffin-Force with the update. Jennifer, thank you. Jillian?
Let's bring in State Department spokesperson Tommy Pigott now. Tommy, thanks for taking time with us today. The president, hosting his first convening of the Board of Peace for Gaza. He announced the U.S. is pledging $10 billion roughly. They've amassed about $7 billion from the other board members. When would you anticipate the people on the ground in Gaza would start to sort of feel the benefit of this investment?
Well, look, we're seeing things move incredibly quickly. Think of how far we've come under President Trump's leadership. The fact that we've already seen aid entering Gaza without it being looted by Hamas. The fact that we've seen the hostages be released. The fact that we have an unprecedented global coalition, as evidenced by this meeting today, truly unprecedented. That was only possible because of the leadership of President Trump. We've made tremendous progress, as was outlined in the meeting. There is still a lot of work to do, but we have tremendous momentum in terms of implementing the president's peace plan. This was another step in that direction.
So you mentioned the board, still has a lot of work to do. What do you see as the next couple of priorities in terms of action in Gaza?
Well, look, the ultimate goals here are security and prosperity. Those two things go hand in hand. That's also part of the demilitarization of Hamas, which the president has been clear needs to happen. So the board is working on this. We're seeing the money that was contributed, the money that was pledged today. We also see the different forces, the personnel that were also pledged during this Board of Peace meeting. Really tremendous progress. Security, prosperity, peace. That's what the president wants to see. This is so much evidence, once again, that President Trump truly is the peace president.
So the president talked this morning also about Iran. Here's just a tidbit of what he said. I want to get your response.
Iran is a hot spot right now in their meeting, and they have a good relationship with the representatives of Iran, and good talks are being had. It's proven to be over the years not easy to make a meaningful deal with Iran. We have to make a meaningful deal, otherwise bad things happen. But we have to make a meaningful deal. But they have a great relationship with the representatives of Iran.
So, Tommy, how did that second round of negotiations go from where you're sitting?
Well, I think the president just described it very clearly there. The message from this president has been very clear from the beginning of this administration, even before. To put this in context, we have a maximum pressure policy on the Iranian regime to deny them the revenue they need to fund their malign activities, including their nuclear weapons program, including their ballistic missile program, including the funding of terrorist proxies across the region. This president's been very clear about what he needs to see, what he wants to see. He's also been very clear he wants to see a deal. He's a peacemaker. He's a deal maker. That's what he wants to see. But no one can doubt, based off the last time that the Iranian regime refused a deal, that the president means what he says. Operation Midnight Hammer proved that.
We've been getting sort of conflicting, not from you, but from, foreign source reporting, views on the scope of these negotiations. Can you tell us anything about what the teams are focused on right now, meaning whether they're just talking about the nuclear issue or whether they're looking beyond that to rein in, Iran's ballistic missiles program, their sponsoring of terrorism?
Well, these are dynamic conversations, so I don't want to preview exactly where they might go. But ultimately, the concerns that this administration has, that President Trump has with the Iranian regime, have been made clearly. He's discussed the nuclear weapons program extensively. We saw with Operation Midnight Hammer the obliteration of that nuclear program. He also mentioned today about how there cannot be peace in the Middle East if Iran has a nuclear weapon. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. The president has been very clear on that. He's also been clear about the other concerns that I just mentioned, the funding of those terrorist proxies, the ballistic missile program. Instead of funding water, food, and energy, you have an Iranian regime that has wasted their vast wealth on their destabilizing activities. We've been clear from this administration, those destabilizing activities need to come to an end.
All right, Tommy, thank you for taking time with us this afternoon. Great to talk to you.
Thanks for having me on.
You bet. John?
Jillian, live look at northern Georgia, where President Trump will soon land to sell the economy ahead of November's midterm elections. Fox Business's David Asman is here with some thoughts about what the president will likely want to talk about. He'll be coming right up.
All right, let's keep it moving.
Let's make a deal. Or if that doesn't happen, I maybe can understand. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But bad things will happen if it doesn't.
That was President Trump saying that diplomacy is still on the table with Iran, but a recent surge of military might in the Middle East has analysts bracing for a potential strike. Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yangst is in Tel Aviv with the latest details. Trey.
Emily, good afternoon. The surge of U.S. military assets to the Middle East is the largest since the 2003 invasion of Iraq. More U.S. military equipment is on its way to the region right now. And we do know the world's largest aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is now arriving in the Mediterranean Sea. And while reports indicate President Trump has discussed a timeline for striking Iran, no final decision has been made. Here's what President Trump said earlier about Iran.
We do have some work to do with Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You can't have peace in the Middle East if they have a nuclear weapon. And they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they've been told that very strongly.
As the region walks a tightrope between diplomacy and war. Today, the Iranian Navy continued joint drills with the Russian Navy in the Sea of Oman. Earlier, they also issued a notice to airmen in the western part of their country to conduct rocket launches as part of ongoing drills. With the region on the brink of direct conflict, European countries, including Poland, have started to warn their citizens in Iran to exit the country as soon as possible. And Israel's prime minister tonight is issuing a new warning to the Iranian regime.
I clarified to my friend President Trump the principles that, in Israel's view, must guide any negotiations with Iran. We are prepared for every scenario, and one thing is certain. If the Ayatollahs make a mistake and attack us, they will receive a response that they cannot even imagine.
Here in Israel, no formal changes have been made to the home front command, but the military remains on high alert. Emily?
Trey Yangst, thank you. And as always, stay safe. Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno.
Emily! We always catch you, Emily. Emily Campagno. Let's keep it moving.
Well, Dana, the White House and Republicans are blasting Democrats for standing in the way of the Save America Act for election integrity. President Trump considering executive action as the White House is calling the bill just common sense policy.
He's discussing and exploring legal options for a potential executive order with respect to voter ID. This is a common sense policy that nearly 90% of the country agrees with. You need an ID to go and purchase alcohol. You need an ID to go to the library and check out a book. And so the president thinks you should have an ID to vote in our nation's elections.
And for more on this, we are joined by Wisconsin Congressman Brian Stile. He's the chairman of the House Administration Committee. Mr. Chairman, good to see you.
Thanks for having me in.
So you've been working on some of this voter integrity legislation. You've heard the criticisms, Democrats calling it Jim Crow 2.0, and the new criticism that with the Save America Act, it would kind of discriminate against married women, women who changed their last name. They would have a harder time voting. Is that true?
No. The Save America Act is common sense legislation that has two key principles. One, you need to be a U.S. citizen when you vote, and you need to prove that when you register. And two, you need photo identification when you show up to the polls to show you are who you say you are. We see time and again the Democrats demagogue and fearmonger on photo identification and other basic common sense election integrity principles. We look back to the state of Georgia the last time they all energized to try to prevent the state of Georgia from moving through with their voter integrity legislation. We can look back at the past two elections in the state of Georgia, and we see turnout remaining high, and we see people having a positive experience in the elections. I think as the Save America Act becomes law, Americans are going to see the same thing. And once again, see the Democrats for what they are, fear-mongering against election integrity.
I understand you're about to get married. You got a fiance. So address the criticism that for women with last name, how's it going to work with her when she wants to vote?
Yeah, we're 5 weeks away from getting married. We were actually talking about this yesterday. Yeah. She's going to move to the state of Wisconsin and change her last name, just like millions of Americans have done. The process for this is straightforward and simple in every single state. The legislation accommodates for that every state is going to have a slightly different process because marriage certificates may look a little bit different, but it'll look a lot like if an individual wanted to go and sell their car. If you had a different name than was on your car, there's a simple, straightforward process for that. Every state will do that. It's an easy process. Again, this is a common sense bill that provides us election integrity to make sure that non-citizens aren't voting in U.S. elections.
One of the biggest critics of this legislation has been Chuck Schumer. He's been calling this Jim Crow 2.0 over and over. We dug into the archives, rewound the clock about 30 years, and found him singing a pretty different tune on voter ID in 1996. Take a listen.
One way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a social security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. What they are proposing in this so-called SAVE Act is like Jim Crow 2.0. They make it so hard to get any kind of voter ID that more than 20 million legitimate people, mainly poorer people and people of color, will not be able to vote under this law.
Quite a switcheroo there. It almost sounded like President Trump back in '96.
Well, the policy hasn't changed. What's changed is the politics for the Democrats. Democrats like Chuck Schumer, who are concerned about a primary from the left, are going wholesale in against photo ID. Think about this. What does checking in to a flight, buying a car, a bank account, buying a beer have in common? You need photo identification. What do you not need photo identification for? To vote in places like New York or Illinois or California. We need to put in place common sense election integrity legislation. And the American people are smart, they're sophisticated, and they recognize that the Democrats are fear-mongering on this to placate their radical leftist base.
It's super quick. Save America Act has passed the House. The president supports it. The only thing holding it up is the Senate right now. Do you believe the Senate should end the 60-vote threshold to get this over the finish line?
I think the president's going to speak to this at the State of the Union. I think we have a lot of legislation, including this, that needs to get signed into law while we have the full trifecta. I'm hopeful the Senate acts on this. It's common sense, and we should have this in law.
All right, we'll stay tuned for that speech on Tuesday. Congressman Brian Style, thank you for your time. Great to see you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.
Let's go ahead and set this back up again because it seems like I had a little audio issue. See which one I'm going to go for. Which is this one? Okay. All right.
I think that this is such a
today, Junior.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day, brought to you by HiveMind.com. Well, folks, you can't say it wasn't obvious. You can't say we didn't try to warn them. We've been saying forever, the left has a DEI problem. You know, they've been warned ample times that this is what happens when you uplift a bunch of morons into positions of power. But of course, they didn't want to listen, no. But now it appears they're finally starting to experience the consequences of their decision-making. It appears as though the Democrat DEI clown car is now caneering off a damn cliff, and said clown car is fueled by their delusional worship of unqualified hacks like AOC and others. They've ditched merit for diversity checkboxes, and well, now I think they're starting to have some serious regrets. It appears big money Democrat donors and a lot of the puppet masters of the Democrat Party are now in full-blown panic mode after AOC has been, let's just say, opening her mouth on the world stage. They're calling it the disaster in Deutschland. I'm sure you guys have seen the clips of AOC, but let's now, of course, follow the fallout. And let me tell you, it's getting kind of ugly. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So like I said, it appears top-level Democrats and Democrat donors aren't exactly taking AOC as the new face of the party very well. No, not well indeed.
You know, I think that this is such a, you know, I think that this is a, this is, of course, a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point.
You know, you feel for somebody when they're not ready for a moment. You really do. World stage, word salad served up. The dismal reviews for Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's words and remarks and pauses and gasps for anything to say coherently there are really getting bashed today. She was at the Munich Security Conference, and the bashing is coming in a bipartisan way.
It's a full-on disaster zone. AOC, of course, always has this aura of confidence about her. I guess when you're blissfully ignorant, you could go into anything with an ignorant confidence. And so AOC struts into the Munich Security Conference thinking that she's gonna dazzle the world with all of her shiny, progressive vibes and little toys. But it turned into an absolute catastrophe. I mean, let's just play a little highlight reel.
I'll start last to first. What is happening is indeed very grave. And we are in a new era, domestically and globally. There have been many leaders who've said we will go back. And I think we have to recognize that we are in a new day and in a new time.
My favorite part was when he said that American cowboys came from Spain.
I thought they came from Britain too, but
I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have a word on that.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is of course a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point.
Yeah, I feel like disaster in Deutschland kind of describes it accurately, no? Well, Democrat insiders are now clearly panicking. They're freaking out at the idea that she may have eyes for the White House in 2028. You know, let's call it skeletons in her political closet. The same kind of worries we've been hearing from these top Democrat donors relating to Gavin Newsom and his track record as governor in the state. They believe usually being a governor puts you in a very strong position to run for president. But when you've got Gavin Newsom's track record, yeah, it's probably more of a tarnish to your name than a net benefit. Well, it's the same thing with AOC. They're worried that this kind of stuff just gives the perfect ammunition to absolutely and utterly dismantle her. And let's just say we're already seeing signs of that. JD Vance actually jumping on the bandwagon and taking his shots.
Well, I think it's a person who doesn't know what she actually thinks. And I've seen this way too much in Washington with politicians where they are given lines, and when you ask them to go outside the lines they were given, they completely fall apart because, look, does anybody really believe that AOC has very thoughtful ideas about the global world order or about what the United States should do with our policy in Asia or our policy in Europe? No, this is a person who is mouthing the slogans that somebody else gave her. And it
I guess
shows
no one gave her one for that one.
I guess not. And it shows how thin the Democrats' policy actually is on all these very, very important questions. Look, that was embarrassing. If I had given that answer, I would say, you know what? Maybe I ought to go read a book about China and Taiwan before I go out on the world stage again. I hope that Congresswoman Cortez has the same humility. I'm skeptical.
You know, I'd probably describe it as low-hanging fruit. It's just too easy. And that's kind of the problem, right? If you're going to be running for president on the general election stage, you just need to be a top talent. And clearly JD Vance and Marco Rubio are. They're great speakers, great debaters, both charismatic, although I'd argue JD is probably slightly more charismatic. But you know, I think it's pretty plainly obvious to everyone that AOC cannot compete on the same level. Now, she will make an utter fool of herself throughout the campaign trail, definitely in a one-on-one debate if she even decides to show up. I mean, Democrats these days seem more interested in dodging debates than actually showing, finding any excuse to do a debate on their terms or reject the debate outright. Having AOC debate is already daunting enough. But then on top of that, we've just got this repository of moments that we could pull up and put into these absolutely brutal campaign ads. These absolutely brutal, let's call it lowlights. And AOC, I mean, she is a low-light machine. You know, sometimes you got a flashy athlete and they'll be referred to as a highlight machine, right? Now, they're just always doing something that's so impressive and so groundbreaking in the sport. Well, AOC's the exact opposite. She's a low-light machine. And that doesn't exactly bode well for a presidential candidate. We saw that with Kamala Harris. I mean, it was open season. It was just, frankly, easy. Just play her incoherent ramblings mixed with a bunch of her cackling, and not much else is required. And I think that's what's scaring these top Democrat donors. I mean, we actually have one of these donors who showed up on Fox News and didn't exactly hide his sentiment.
Looks like in that clip to me that she went to the Kamala word salad school for the Trump deranged, because at some point, if you don't know where Taiwan is, I used to tell people about Benghazi. I said, if you ask 100 Americans where Benghazi is, maybe 5 know. You should know where Taiwan is. I can understand Benghazi, but when you don't know the answer to something, remember in law school when people would be called on and they just start giving this la, 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 and everybody's looking at them like, what are you talking about? You just have to say, I'm not sure. We would respect that other than what she did. She gave a clip forever and ever. That clip will be used forever and ever and ever, titled, word salad.
He's basically saying exactly what I'm saying. It appears these left-wing financiers are finally kind of realizing, I guess, what they've gotten themselves into. And I would argue, I think you guys are a little late to the party. I think you've been wearing the delusional Democrat cap for a little bit too long. Because, well, I think we've been here for a while. I really don't think it should be a surprise to anyone that AOC is a complete incompetent. No, the writing's been on the wall. The warning signs have been there.
I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue. For me, I'm a firm believer in finding a two-state solution in this issue. And I'm happy to sit down with leaders on both of these. For me, I just look at things through a human rights lens. And I may not use the right words.
I mean, really? You guys haven't noticed that this is the direction your party is headed towards? Were you under the assumption that Kamala Harris was a top talent? I really don't get it. But I guess they finally are starting to understand. And now comes the backtracking, comes the panicking, comes the running to Fox News and sounding the alarm. Well, probably a little too late. This is what you Democrats have. You've got Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, AOC, and Pete Booty Butt Cheeks. And you've got a base that seems rather immovable from these cultist leaders. Oh, that's what they want. They want exactly that. Anti-Trump, orange man bad, incoherent ramblings. I think a lot of people on the left have kind of deluded themselves for a long time, thinking the old style corporate Democrat culture still exists, but it doesn't. It's long gone. And now what you have is this weird kind of DEI-fueled cult of personality, this cult of anti-Trumpism. I mean, the bar is just set so low. It appears the standard for finding presidential candidates is don't be a white male, fill a bunch of identity boxes, and then just appeal to the anti-Trump sycophants in the most extreme kind of ways, and there you go. And like I've always maintained, I think that works very well in terms of winning the nomination. It works well in big blue cities, but on the national stage, I think the Democrat Party is going to have a very, very hard time, and they might just end up effing around and finding out. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, we're going to keep moving along.
As investigators await results from cutting-edge genetic genealogy testing on DNA found inside Nancy Guthrie's Arizona home and gloves discovered nearby, the Pima County Sheriff is raising a new possibility. The suspect caught on doorbell video may not have acted alone. Callahan Walsh joins us in moments with thoughts on that. But first, correspondent Matt Finn live at Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona. What's the latest, Matt?
John, the sheriff says biological evidence and DNA was recovered from inside Nancy Guthrie's home behind me. They're going to run that against law enforcement databases, but they say they're also going to try other routes like this forensic genealogy. Fox News spoke with the CEO of Author, a private forensic genealogy company credited with helping identify Brian Kohberger. Othram says it can ID someone in a matter of days and claims it can learn much more about who a person is versus standard law enforcement offender databases.
We can build profiles in days, and that's what we did in the Rachel Marin case and in the quadruple homicide in Idaho. It takes days, not just to get the profile, but even to get the results from a genetic genealogy database. It's a very fast process.
There's also been reports and theories of a connection to Mexico, but so far nothing has been validated. Sheriff Nano says he's not aware right now of any direct link to Mexico, and Fox is told it's standard for the FBI to be in touch with Mexican counterparts on cases like this right off the bat, especially as it's so close to the border. The Sheriff's Department also says the reward for Nancy Guthrie has increased to more than $200,000 after what it calls an anonymous $100,000 donation that was given. Tuesday, Sheriff Nanos released a statement clearing the Guthrie family. It was not certain if the FBI also cleared the family, but we are told that this remains a state investigation that the FBI is assisting. So if the sheriff cleared the Guthrie family, then that is the word on behalf of the investigation. John.
Frustratingly little movement still in this case. Matt Finn for us in two.
Yeah, it's like it's frozen, man.
Let's go ahead and bring in Callahan Walsh. She is co-host of America's Most Wanted on Fox. Callahan, take a look at this headline out of CBS. They reported yesterday that an accomplice is not ruled out in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. This from the Pima County Sheriff. If this is the case, that they are now looking for more than one suspect, does that make their job easier or harder?
It actually will make their job easier. Now you don't have one person trying to cover their tracks. You have two people. And with more people becomes more opportunities for them to slip up and leave behind some sort of evidence that will pinpoint them to the crime. And so the fact that they're looking for more than one individual, for me, I think increases their chances. It's a scary scenario to know that more than one person was involved, that this was a highly orchestrated type of event. My hat's off to law enforcement. I know they're trying to do everything that they can. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. Only some of that information comes to us, but that's why the public needs to stay vigilant. If anybody's seen anything, knows somebody who's been missing for the past 3 weeks who fits the description of the perpetrator seen in the video, they should be coming forward.
The sheriff also said they're working now with other technology companies to try and derive more information from whatever the footprint was in the house. What do you read into those comments?
So what I take from them is that they're looking at some genetic markers in that DNA, not necessarily a match. If they can't find a match, they're going to move on to these markers to help try to identify at least a bit of information about their possible ancestry, possible eye color and hair color, things that can be provided to the public to help identify who these individuals are. Again, the public can be law enforcement's most powerful tool, but they're not powerful. They don't have actionable information. Luckily, we see that ring footage, that doorbell footage, but the person is wearing a balaclava covering their face, not very easily to identify them. So with these additional markers and additional information, it may be possible that somebody out there can put that information together and say, hey, I think I know who it is.
Have you ever covered a case where somebody in their 80s was abducted? Or is this completely out of the norm?
It's pretty rare. It is pretty rare. You know, we have, elderly Americans going missing all the time, but typically they've gotten into a vehicle, weren't able to navigate home, or they wandered from the house. That's why we have silver alerts. In Arizona, they're called safe alerts. But it does remind me of a specific case. Cal Ripken Jr.'s mother was abducted from her home, driven around town for 24 hours, and eventually let go. But it's not something that we see on a regular basis at all.
All right. Well, Callahan, one more thing. The sheriff did say, that he does not believe this is a botched burglary or a burglary gone wrong and, it escalated. So that speaks to your point. Callahan, thanks for taking time with us. Good to talk to you.
Thanks.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
Keep it moving.
A South Philadelphia cheesesteak landmark is changing the game after nearly a century.
Yeah, hard to believe, right? Pat Steaks causing a bit of a stir after announcing it's making some menu changes on social media. And Chris, they're calling it limited edition.
What?
Yeah, guys. Anyone who claims to be a lover of cheesesteaks, it is all about the bread. Well, after 96 years here at Pat Steaks, they are, rolling out a new roll.
What?
Provolone with onions, right? Working the Pat Steaks grill since he was a teenager, Tommy Francano lost count how many cheesesteaks he's made over the last 47 years.
So pepper, mushroom, what kind of cheese?
Whiz, wit, American provolone, and everything in between. But this week,
I get it with provolone
cedar roll or not?
and light
Seeded
with.
roll is making a debut as a new option at the place that invented the cheesesteak.
You got it.
The base sandwich is still the base sandwich, which is ribeye, onions, and bread.
Talking to us from his winter home in Florida, owner Frank Oliveri says after his father Frank passed away in January, and with customer demand for a seeded roll, he thought it was a good time to offer a new school take on an old classic.
I will try the seeded roll. People can choose to eat a cheesesteak anywhere in the city. And that's fine, or outside the city for that matter. But if
They have good cheesesteaks all around the city.
they want in their neighborhood, rather than going someplace else to get
They're
it,
not the only
why not?
cheesesteak. You know what I mean?
Another
I've had
new
them both.
change, Pat's is also melting the cheese on the grill before it hits the roll.
Cheese in with the steak, not a bad idea.
Jean and her brother remember eating Pat's when they were kids. Seeds on a roll, not for Gene.
I think they're crazy.
I'm all for it. I love cedar rolls. It's all what Philly bread's all about.
How do you say cheesesteak in German?
Käseschnitzel, I'd say, yeah.
At a place where the sign still tells you how to order correctly or go to the back of the line, they also say after 96 years, change isn't always a bad thing.
It's not 1930 no more either, you know. We're now in 2026. We need to, we need to give our customers what they want.
But if they don't want it, then why are you
They say
giving
the
it to them?
seated roll is only going to be available for a limited time, but do not be surprised if it sticks around for a while. And don't
Yeah, they might like
You
it.
think a seated roll is like a big change? Listen to this. The original owner of Pat's here, he liked his steak sandwich with no cheese, dill relish, and spicy mustard. So I guess we can
Everybody
evolve.
to each their own.
And no, I could not have a cheesesteak today because it's Ash Wednesday and no meat for me today.
Well,
Yeah.
if you don't want the seeds, can you still get it the other way or just?
You can have an option.
Okay.
They use Averso's rolls. You have the option. They'll ask you seated or non-seated. You want what kind of cheese? Whiz, Wit, Cooper, you got it all.
Yeah.
All right.
I love the seated roll, so I'm glad they made the change, at least temporarily. Chris, thank you.
I mean, I've been there so many times. Oh my God. Like when I was young, my dad used to take me there. And then as an adult, I've been there a few times. I went with my cousin. We went and got the cheesesteaks. And then I went there a couple of times. It was been like about, so adult, like 3 or 4 times. I went to Pat's and then I also went to Gino's. That's across the street. Because I like to get from both. You know, I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not gonna just choose one. If I got like 2 options and I'm gonna get both options, and then I just get half and half, and then the other half I give it to my cousin, and he ate it up. Love it. But if I'm ever in Philadelphia, every time I go there, I always go to Pat's and Gino's, and I go to both restaurants, and yeah, not a big deal. All right, let's seeded bread. I don't know. I think they're gonna like it. I think they're gonna end up liking it, and they're gonna keep it on the menu. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, let's keep it moving. We got a liberal hive mind.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, you know, there's embarrassing and then there's this, right? There's always different levels to everything. This, my friends, this is next level. This is next level stupid, next level degenerate, next level disgraceful, next level dishonest. Just think of a negative descriptive word. And that's exactly what this is. You know, again, I'm sitting here signaling my frustration with CNN's Abby Phillips. I'm questioning what the hell goes into the executive decision making at CNN, because if it was me, this chick would have been fired freaking last year. But no. Instead, as the network continues to crater, CNN is in full freefall in the ratings. They continue to stand by these absolute freaking clowns that they're platforming. I just don't get it. And it's moments like these that make it even more confusing. I mean, who the hell in their right mind could stand by this kind of a disgrace? Let me show you guys exactly what's happening. Abby Phillips does it again. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I guess I'm still contributing a good chunk of my YouTube channel to simply voicing my frustration over this Abby Phillips character, but I'm telling you it's justified when you see these 2 moments. First one, the CNN panel that she's hosting kind of goes off the rails, mostly because you have these leftoids making absolute insane, incoherent points, and at one point, Kevin O'Leary, you can tell he just kind of gives up. And look at Abby Phillips's reaction. I mean, she is fuming.
Kevin, a quick last word.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm not sure.
My last word is you're all nuts.
Like that's just.
Oh my God!
Thank you, Kevin.
Guys,
Am I in on that?
look, we got to keep it together here, okay?
We are. Too late.
Honestly, I mean, there's a way to talk about these things. If you don't have anything to say, just say that, and I won't come to you next time.
You
All right, next for us, everyone. Thank you for being here.
That was a stretch. It was
Next,
insane.
excuse me,
A shovel.
excuse me, stop, Kevin, stop.
And again, it's her partisanship showing. I view that almost like a "how dare you" Greta Thunberg moment. How dare you come
She's
on
an
my
idiot.
show and suggest that the people that I brought on are absolute crazies? But are you
They are
serious?
crazy.
They're going on the most unhinged anti-Trump conspiracy theory angles. Donald Trump is going to replace ballots with some of the ballots that his FBI took from the Fulton County seizures. I mean, where are you even getting this stuff? I mean, do you really blame Kevin O'Leary? Maybe you could argue his approach wasn't exactly professional, but I think the same could be said about these fools that you,
fucking
Abby
crazy.
Phillips,
You call them
constantly
crazy.
bring on your show and try to legitimize and normalize. And really, I think that's where the issue stems from, not from Kevin O'Leary giving up with your insane guests, but rather with the nonsense that you platform on your show and pretend is just legitimate political discussion. It's not. It's blue anon slop for insane people. And Kevin O'Leary, of course, isn't one of these typical paid shill, empty suit talking heads in the mainstream media. No, the guy's a self-made investor savant billionaire. And so, yeah, I don't think he really cares whether CNN decides to invite him anymore. In fact, he's probably getting to the point where he's realized it's a futile effort to try to introduce common sense into this environment, this absolutely pathetic, indefensible news environment that CNN is creating. And Abby Phillips, frankly, I think is the poster child for it. Every freaking day, it's the same crap. The other day, I played that clip where she was saying, oh, it's so important for her to dismantle all the crazy conspiracies coming from right-wingers on her show. But whenever it's leftoids spewing the most insane crap, she doesn't offer even an ounce of pushback. Never. Nothing. She is so obviously a partisan hack, a real frickin' hacky individual. And it's so frustrating because she presents herself as such a serious news person. She does the whole voice and everything. You could tell, the ego is the size of her damn forehead.
Wow.
Oh, well, listen, Scott Jennings. I'm the real serious news person. But she's so obviously not. At this point, it's hard to distinguish between her and Tiffany Cross and Joy Reid. Maybe she's not as flamboyant and extreme. She's not like Joy Reid where her freaking wig is popping off and her eyeballs are popping out of her head. Maybe not. She does the whole Wolf Blitzer act. But in terms of the content, in terms of the things that she says, maybe toned down, but just as irrational and just as partisan. Here's the next clip. This one's probably the most egregious. Here's Abby Phillips's take on AOC's absolutely embarrassing rock bottom performance at the Munich Security Conference.
A flub for AOC, but the question is also, what happens when the president, the actual president of the United States, does very similar things on the world stage? So look, I'll give you that AOC probably should have been more ready for that question, but are we going to really pretend that the actual president of the United States has not made similar or perhaps worse flubs on the global stage? Bad answers, bad answers. What do you think should happen to Donald Trump as a result of his bad answers?
AOC word salad girl.
What about
in the
when
last
Donald
election.
Trump in 2024 said, I think Taiwan should pay us for defense?
Yeah, but for you,
Was it terrible?
John, hey, I'm just asking for you all to apply
I
the
think
same
Trump's hilarious.
standard.
I think he makes mistakes
to
all the
the
time, and I
president
crack up
as you
laughing,
do
just like
to
I cracked
AOC.
up at
Before I say anything, we need a Facebook, right? We just need it. You got Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez straight up breaking down during her public appearances on the world stage. Incoherent gobbledygook, just completely out of place, a total uneducated, clueless, useless moron. I don't think there's any other way to describe it. And Abby Phillips immediately goes to, yeah, sure, but Trump. The same kind of gaslighting that we saw during Joe Biden's administration. Joe Biden's freaking pooping out of his pants. He doesn't even make sense. He could barely keep his eyes open. He could barely freaking walk. He's a senile old man. And then Donald Trump, missays or mispronounces a word. And he's just like Joe Biden. These people talk to us as if we're stupid. Like that little mishap with Greenland that Trump had the other day. They tried to play it as if it was a Joe Biden spelling gaffe. It's ridiculous. Donald Trump misspeaking or making a slight mistake in his delivery is not the same as AOC showing up at these events and sounding like a complete low IQ fool.
You know, I think that this is such a
And you know, it's not just in AOC's lack of linguistic abilities, it's just the sheer ignorance of it all. You know, she's a sitting member of Congress and she cannot convey basic ideas and clearly has no idea what is going on from a foreign policy point. And so she completely breaks down, totally out of her depth. And to then compare that to President Trump, who has been dominating on the world stage, who has given some of the most incredible speeches. His 2017 or 2018 speech at the UN, in my opinion, should go down in the history books when he warned Germany of their reliance on Russian oil.
Germany will become totally dependent on Russian energy if it does not immediately change course. Here in the Western Hemisphere, we are committed to maintaining our independence from the encroachment of expansionist foreign powers.
I mean, Trump is highly coherent, highly knowledgeable, and frankly, one of the best foreign policy presidents in modern American history. And you have the audacity to compare that to whatever the hell AOC gave us?
this is of course a very long-standing
she's still questioning
policy of the United States.
It's just disgusting. I mean, it's disgusting. And again, it shows how much of a hack this person is. This is why she's 47th in the damn ratings. Look at the list. You got to go all the way down. 600,000 viewers. A lot of that is probably nursing homes and airports and other public spaces. I mean, come on. I'm a small fry in the game. And like I always say, I get better numbers than that. Imagine if I had the production value. Imagine if I could put together a panel of actual interesting people. I just don't get why it's so difficult to get these people off of my TV screen. And it appears I'm not the only person who feels that way. Put together a regular panel of actual competent people. Although, of course, that's easier said than done when it comes to the pool of leftists these days. They're all just friggin' lying partisan hacks. But at the bare minimum, get an actual neutral host. It's such a slap in the face to have people like Abby Phillips constantly interjecting, constantly doing the bidding of the left, constantly gaslighting us in the most insane manner possible. I am sick of this woman. Please pay her her little severance and send her packing. You know, I'm going to say this unironically, but at this point, I think Brian Stelter would be better in the position than Abby Phillips. And I'm pretty sure most people would agree. CNN was supposed to get better after Warner Bros. Discovery bought them, but it's plainly obvious to everyone that they've gotten considerably worse. Anyways, that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
All right, let's keep it moving. What the fuck? What is going on? What's going on?
Sir, don't. Thank you, sir. Sir, don't. Let me do it.
What's happening?
Oh my God, this is the whole fucking thing.
What's going on?
We gotta get cops. Sit down, please, ma'am. Can you put the phone down and let us get our job done? Can y'all sit down? Yeah. We need to get to some gear. I don't need
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Let me put her phone down.
Okay, let me move her. Don't worry about her. You sit down.
Right here.
What the hell's going on? Someone's having like a panic attack or something? No, she went up. Okay.
Take your seats. Take your seats. I think they have it under control. They got it under control. Take your seats. Pardon me. Come take your seats. Everybody take your seats. Oh, okay.
What happened? I'm fucking confused.
He's on the floor, I think. Yeah, I think he's sitting on him. This is crazy.
Huh? What the fuck was that about?
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats if you're not helping with this situation and the interior of the aircraft. Take your seats.
I have no clue what the fuck happened. The police is outside or medical? Is that the person? Yeah, that's a big person. What the hell? That's a big motherfucker. Whoever that guy is, or girl, I don't know.
Airfield is an attempted breach of the flight deck. We're going to be here for a while. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about this. This goes through the Federal Aviation Administration, and there's going to be multiple clearances before we can take off. The aircraft is fine. We're going to discuss it with the crew, see how the crew is doing. But other than that, I know a lot of you have connections. They're trying to coordinate that for if you miss your connection, get you a follow-on flight. But as for myself right now, I'm trying to deal with the FAA and everything else so that we can get airborne and get back out of here and get to Atlanta. So right now, I have no estimated time, and I apologize for that. But until everything's done, I truly have no idea. This is my first time having a breach of the cockpit event, so I don't know how long it's going to take for the FAA to decide everything's good and to let us go. All right.
That is fucking crazy. And they're gonna miss their connection flight. Keep it moving.
Racial equity, 4.6 million. Commission on racial equity, 835,000. Commission on gender equity, 260,000 for Department of Education. Chief Diversity Officer, 301,000 for 3 FDNY civilian Chief Diversity Inclusion Officers. There's a title for you. And 118,000 for an FDNY Chief Diversity Inclusion Officers. Is that necessary stuff? You can't cut that back?
And a list of things to do when it comes to public safety? Absolutely not. Public safety's got to be in the top of your list. So we can't pay for everything. Everything can't be for free. But what you need is cops out in the street. Tell me how all these programs are going to help when you're getting robbed in the middle of the street.
It's true. Guys, they gotta rob your ass. They don't even care. They need the cops on the streets. They don't need like these social workers. Oh, are you distraught? You want me to calm you down? I'll take a report. That's what Mandani wants. And this guy wants $12 billion. Mind you, the budget ballooned because of all the immigrants that came to New York City. And they keep taking care of these immigrants. That's why the budget is super high. Now he wants to go through the rainy day funds. That's like if something happens, they have the funds to take care of a major event. And also he wants to take from their retirement funds. Like they want to take money from the retirees for the retirement plan and reroute it to put into their budget it just makes zero sense. Why are you going to tap into the retirement? Those people work their ass off to be retired, to have those funds there for them so that if they retire, the money is there for them. No, he wants to tap into it and take their money. So the retirement people are going to be fucked. Like, it makes zero sense. Who will want to live in this state? I don't know. That's what he wants. He wants to clear everything out so he could bring his people in. He want to bring his own little country so he can have his little country within the United States. No, we cannot let that happen. You got to remove this guy from office. You got to remove all these illegals from office. You got Letitia James need to go to jail. You know, these people are horrible, like a menace to society. And they say, yeah, they voted for it. Not if the illegals are voting like 20, 30 times in a precinct. It makes little sense. They need to double check with the voting, logs and make sure that dead people are not voting in New York City. Because I'm pretty sure dogs and cats and dead people are voting in New York City's elections.
So things to come from the Democratic Socialist Muslim Mayor Mamdani is proposing a near 10% property tax hike. He's got a multi-billion-dollar hole in his budget already, but he's pressuring the states to hit millionaires and corporations. But Kosha, this point is interesting. He got elected promising to tax the rich. But all along he knew he couldn't do this as mayor. He knew it wasn't within his jurisdiction. So this is about class war games as much as anything else.
It is, and the base that will suffer the most from this is not really his voting base, or at least the majority of them aren't. This is the only tax category that he has unilateral authority as mayor of New York City to hike property taxes, and that's why he's doing it. The mayor of New York City does not have authority on sales tax or income tax or any other categories. And so this is the last straw, or the last resort, I think is how he termed it. Also, there is statutory obligation for the mayor of New York to balance the budget since the 1970s after a big financial crisis that happened there. But there's no cap on the revenue. So of course, the costs go up and up, and then they try to tax more. And this is sort of the only lever he has. But as we know, what it's going to keep doing is New Yorkers eventually leave. And it's a very mobile country. They don't leave for other parts in the state of New York. They leave for other cities and other states. And that will hurt the statewide revenue base. And that's why the governor, exactly, Florida and other places. So the governor is actually
relocation
back
fee
on him, even though she's quite
if you're
left-wing
going to
herself.
leave, you got to pay
This
taxes.
is going a bridge too far. So we shall see how that all unfolds.
That's right, Michael. They'll just walk. Money will walk.
Well, I had family friends from New York here. It was freezing, a particularly odious winter in the Big Apple, and you've got the more attractive climate down south and far less taxes and less crazy people running big cities. So why wouldn't you move to Austin or Memphis or
Florida?
Florida, beautiful.
Yeah, I was in Florida over Christmas, and not much crime. I could not see any graffiti on a highway. I was on a highway for about an hour and a half. No discernible graffiti. I came back to Australia and it felt like it was Mogadishu in Melbourne, but that's another story.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like around the world, they're like meanness. Oh, Lord.
New York City Mayor, he's now called for the state to increase taxes on corporations and the wealthy to help address the city's budget deficit, warning that the alternative option will be for the city to raise property taxes. Listen to this.
There are two paths to bridge this gap. The first is the most sustainable and the fairest path. This is the path of ending the drain on our city and raise taxes on the richest New Yorkers and the most profitable corporations. And if we do not go down the first path, the city will be forced down a second, more harmful path. Faced with no other choice, the city would have to exercise the only revenue lever fully within our own control. We would have to raise property taxes.
Nick, can I get your assessment of this? I mean, what a message for homeowners. But I want to know, are we still in this Mamdani honeymoon period after the election, or has that really dropped off now? People know what they're getting.
No, I mean, I think that there has already been some chinks in the armor. There was a major winter storm on the East Coast, and historically, the NYPD would go out onto the streets of New York City and help get mentally ill homeless folks off the streets. And because of Mamdani's extreme socialist agenda, they were told not to do that. And I think 18 people, as of the last count, died of frostbite in America's most prosperous city. But this has been the problem with the Mamdani campaign from the get-go, is that the math just didn't add up. And, you know, he likes to talk about
I'm
just
telling
raising the
you,
taxes on the
I
wealthy.
think
But in New York
they
State,
rigged the election.
1.6% of the
I'm sorry.
population is already paying 49% of
Come
the
after me if you
taxes.
want.
You know, how much more can we ask
It
them
doesn't make sense.
to continue to pay and expect them to stick
This guy's
around? It used to be the
inexperienced.
old
He's
adage,
not
as long
experienced.
as
He
Wall
has
Street's in New York
no
City,
experience
the financial
in
services
running
industry
anything.
will have to stay. I hate to break it to folks. The
He
internet's
should
a
have
thing
never been
now.
allowed to
Financial services does
run.
not need to be in New York City adjacent to Wall Street anymore. And Mamdani seems to be doing everything in his power to push him away.
Well, on that point, analysis
Done
by
an
New York's
American
top
born.
corporate advocacy group shows that New York is losing thousands of jobs to pro-business Texas, and Mamdani's push to raise corporate taxes is certainly only going to accelerate that exodus. This is coming from a report issued by the Partnership for the City of
Yeah,
New
screwed
York.
New York. New York City's
John,
screwed.
no surprises there, really. Can I get your assessment of
Trump's gonna let it happen.
Mamdani's latest announcement?
Well, New York City is losing
He's not going
jobs
to
and
interfere in
business to
that because
Texas
they
and
did
also
that to
to
themselves.
Florida. New York City does have a budget crisis. Why is that? Because they spend an unbelievable amount of money. The current budget for New York City is $116 billion. Mamdani wants to raise it to $127 billion. $160 billion happens to be exactly the same as the budget for the entire state of Florida, which has almost 3 times as many people as New York City. That level of spending is unsustainable. The taxes are unsustainable, and people are fleeing New York City and New York State, and they're leaving to Texas. They're leaving for Florida. They're leaving for other states that are more business friendly. And everything Mamdani is doing is going to accelerate the decline of New York City.
Wow. And that's the truth. Let's keep it moving. What the hell? Ooh, an avalanche. Wait a minute. Oh shit, on the train. Oh, you better move that train.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you're not okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-oh. You guys are not safe. Oh my god.
Podívej. No, tak asi proto se nemůžu dneska lyžovat.
Pojď zaměříš sem. Co?
Podívej.
That is scary. You know, they need to be doing these operations where they explode a canister to activate the avalanche.
Já to jsem ještě neviděla.
They need to do more preemptive, like causing like a preemptive avalanche so it doesn't build up so much. But it seems like these mountains are built up with a lot of snow, and they're not taking them out and clearing them.
Ale to normálně ztratí už úplně, no.
You didn't see what happened in California? 9 people dead.
Hasiči se měli.
One of the biggest accidents ever in California. Avalanche.
Like a normal one?
And this train just gonna go right by. That's crazy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you're right. Not good.
Uh-oh.
You know, say, Man, that's taking down trees. That's taking down debris. She was right. Fucking crazy. All right, let's see what's up here. Oh, this is the weather.
I see some of the raindrops behind you.
Yeah, we've got a couple of raindrops on our camera lens here as we look live on Sky 6 toward the Ben Franklin Bridge. We've got the raindrops, we've got the clouds, and we've got temperatures in the 40s. Today, our wind direction coming in out of the east northeast, so we've just been stuck in the clouds all day here. We have a round of showers moving through now, and then we have the steady rain that comes through Friday morning. The heaviest rainfall at this point is still to our south. You can see it down toward the Baltimore area. We're watching as some of these showers kind of work their way southwest to northeast here. Everything that you're seeing is pretty light in intensity, but we have a few hours where we're going to be dealing with these showers as they work their way to the north and east. So showers through this evening, we get a little bit of a breather, and then we're going to kind of reload things as we head into early tomorrow morning. You can see some of the steadier pockets of rain. This is around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. The good thing to note is that our temperatures are going to be above freezing, the exception up into the Poconos. So if you're traveling the northeast extension, say once you get north of the Lehigh Tunnel, that's where you could deal with a little bit of snow and freezing drizzle. For the rest of us, it's a steady soaking rain. By lunchtime, a lot of this is moving offshore, but the clouds are still going to be pretty stubborn here. And notice our temperatures in the upper 30s into the low 40s. So very similar to what we've had today. How much rain are we expecting? A pretty good consensus amongst the models. This is what we like to see when we're showing you model output, that everything's kind of in the same agreement, about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch possible, and that's taking tonight's time frame through early Friday morning. We need the rain around here. A lot of people are surprised to hear that because we've had snow on the ground for several weeks. And that's because, well, keep in mind the ground is frozen right now and all of that snow is melting. And because the ground is frozen, you get more of runoff rather than absorption into the ground. So our drought monitor that updated today now showing a severe drought throughout Berks County, the Lehigh Valley, up into the Poconos. So tonight's rain and tomorrow morning's rain is going to be beneficial. Saturday, the sunshine returns. It's going to be a great day to get outside. We're calling it the pick of the weekend with a high of 50 degrees.
Yes,
and then our attention shifts to the weekend storm Sunday. And we're going to show you the model comparison here, just 2 different models. There's more
for a
than
little
2
bit
models,
more.
but the 2 that we're showing you, the GFS, this is the one that shows more of a storm hugging along the coast. It generates its own cold air, and this is what's bringing the potential of a foot of snow. That's what this model is suggesting. Then we have the European model. This is going to be more of a weaker solution, and this is going to likely head more out to sea. So you're not seeing that significant snowfall event, but it's still an impactful event with several inches of snow. So if we break things down, the major storm that's less likely, the GFS that I just showed you, it's showing over a foot of the snow with blizzard conditions, 50-mile-per-hour winds, beach erosion, coastal flooding. Really the worst case scenario. But what we're favoring right now is a minor storm, which is more likely. So we're likely looking at a few inches of snow, breezy conditions at the coast, and less impacts for travelers, which would be a good thing. Your exclusive AccuWeather 7-day forecast, a wet morning tomorrow, drier during the afternoon. Saturday is the pick of the weekend. The high is 50 degrees. Then on Sunday, we have our storm, and we're looking at wet snow developing by midday. That continues into early Monday morning, 38 degrees, and then the sunshine returns on Tuesday. Whatever falls is going to be melting because we're up to 50 degrees by next Thursday.
We like that. Yeah, can't have any more snow sticking around.
It's been here a while.
It's been too long. You got it. Brittany, thanks.
All right. And now we're here. We're close to the end. We got the train sounding from far away. I gotta get off here soon. I gotta record my opening of my Pokemon. I'm trying to figure out what am I going to open. What am I gonna go for? Let me make myself nice and big. What am I gonna go for? I don't know, but I'm definitely gonna check the weather here in Connecticut because we are getting a system up here this tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, into Monday. The nor'easter, they're talking about this nor'easter, but I've been checking the numbers and haven't been really. It's not crazy 2 to 3 inches. I'm not gonna go crazy for 2 to 3 inches. Who would, Chloe? 2 3 inches. The train of truth is like, ha ha ha. It's laughing. I know. It's stupid. I mean, to slow me down, it has to be feet. You know what I mean? 2 to 3 inches, I could deal with it. The only thing is going to be a little slippery, you know. But if the main roads, if you go on the main roads and on the highway, it's all really taken care of. So not too really worried. But I ain't going nowhere tomorrow. The only thing I got to do, yes, I do have to go somewhere. I got to go physical therapy. I got a 8 in the morning appointment for physical therapy. So definitely going to be there for that because it's to help my back and my knee because they're working. That's what they're working on, my back and my knee. So I'm trying to get this all figured out. It's a hard times. All right, let's watch this one because this is in reference to the weather in my neck of the woods in Connecticut. So let's see what's going to be happening.
Connecticut's only all-weather show. This is First Alert Weather Extra.
They're so dramatic. They're so dramatic.
Joining us for this Thursday night edition of First Alert Weather Extra live on WFSB Plus and, of course, the WAX. I'm Mark Zinni, along with Chief Meteorologist Mark Dixon and Meteorologist Mike Slifer, talking all things weather tonight. After a little bit of rain out there.
You got home safe, you got the charger.
Today a nice report. Kind of sandwiched between weather.
I don't blame you,
certainly a break out there, and this.
But you made $50 in an hour and a half.
Okay with that?
It's been gradual. It's
Yeah,
good.
that's
That keeps the
good.
flooding risk low. But tomorrow traveling could be a little
Fucking
difficult.
strippers don't even
and
make that
before
much
we get to that today,
fast.
high temperature, 40 degrees.
You gotta be like a real
So
good
kind of a
bitch
notable
to
day,
make
and that's where we hit our high
that
today.
amount of
So,
money.
good news there. But yes, tomorrow,
You gotta
not
be a
ideal
bad
travel
bitch.
conditions, especially toward and after the morning commute and right on through the evening commute. So we're not talking about a blockbuster snowstorm. Roads will be wet. We're also talking about some accumulating snow, but also perhaps a little accretion of ice. So from beginning to end in different parts of the state, we're going to see it all tomorrow. Quite a variety of precipitation types. Initially some snow, over to that icy mix, then to some rain, then back to snow. So again, around the morning commute, some people may make it out the door dry, but as the morning progresses, things will start to go downhill. So with regard to snowfall accumulation, we should point out this is before any mixing or transition to rain takes place. So really inland Connecticut and especially closest to the road to the Massachusetts border is where we could see a coating to maybe an inch of snow. Given the slightly later
That is
start
not
time
significant
and as well a
at
little bit
all.
of a milder track with this precipitation, some milder air moving in. That's
We don't
why
know
we've,
how
brought down our
if it's
forecast
gonna
total
be a
just
monster or
little
not.
bit. So with regard to some freezing drizzle, it is across northwest Connecticut and that higher train in the morning. Then even tomorrow evening, note how northeastern Connecticut there could get in on perhaps a little freezing drizzle, freezing rain. So
Yeah.
a situation we're going to continue to watch very
Barry's not
closely.
here.
So temperatures
I
tomorrow
tell him
obviously
they're
are going to be
fucked, Barry.
key. Inland we start in the 25 to 30 degree range early on in the day, and then we kind of hover between 30 and 35 inland. Meanwhile, on the shoreline, we hit the mid and upper 30s. So for most of the Connecticut shoreline and throughout a good part of southern Connecticut, this could be primarily rain from beginning to end. Here's First Alert Futurecast showing at 7 o'clock that batch of precip is going to be on the way, and we're going to see waves of it move through Connecticut. So it's not going to be precipitating all day long, but here you can see it, say 10 o'clock in the morning, northwest, we've got the blue, the pinks, the snow, the icy mix respectively. Meanwhile, on the shoreline, the green represents the rain. Here's noon tomorrow. There are going to be some lulls, perhaps just a period of drizzle, but again, temperatures northwest, northeast Connecticut will be crucial. Even with that drizzle, could lead to a little glaze of ice. Then here's 11 o'clock tomorrow night. As it's winding down, that precip could flip back over to a little snow. So where we have the greatest concern for some of those travel impacts, northern Connecticut, our northern 4 counties, under that winter weather advisory through tomorrow night. To talk more about some meteorological terminology, want to continue our team coverage right now with meteorologist Mike Slifer.
Mark, throughout the week, we've been tossing around the word inversion, and we're going to explain about what that means and also why it is so crucial in the wintertime when it comes to forecasting the type of precip that we will actually see here in Connecticut. So we'll start off with just a cutout of land here so that you can really visualize this. This time of year, wintertime, even into early spring, it's often rather cold. That cold air is dense. And what happens is we'll have these storm systems that approach, and we'll have warm air, milder air out ahead of them that will actually then move into that colder air. But instead of being able to push that colder air out, the warm air is less dense. So as it hits that cold air in place, it's forced to rise. And what this does, well, it does a couple of things. One, it forms clouds, fog. It helps with precip. If this layer of cold air is below freezing, sometimes that's when we see a bit of an icy mix. Sometimes that's when we see freezing rain or sleet. The other night, we dealt with freezing fog, a very similar setup. But also that means that with that layer of warmer air above this cold air, all of that cold air is trapped. So we've had some air quality issues this week too. And that's because the pollutants are trapped underneath that layer of milder air. So again, that helps to force cloud cover. It helps to force precip, and it causes things to perhaps be a little bit messy. Now, eventually that as that warmer air rises, it cools, it saturates. That's how the clouds themselves actually form. And as time goes on and you get a little bit farther away from wherever that warm front is too, we do eventually see this run out of steam, no pun intended. Essentially, the air becomes cool enough that we no longer see the clouds, the precip, and the fog form. And the inversion eventually will be gone too if you get far enough away from where that milder air is. But we have some terrain features here like the Connecticut River Valley that sometimes can keep this colder air around, and that's where we end up with every now and again temperatures from, say, Enfield down through Hartford to Middletown and Meriden a little bit lower than the rest of the state. So this is the inversion. This is something, again, that we see very frequently this time of year as warm fronts approach, and that will certainly play a role in tomorrow. Like Mark said, we're expecting some freezing drizzle. We do have much more coming up in the forecast, along with an outlook for the spring.
That's
coming
good.
up a little bit later on our First Alert Weather Extra.
Okay, Mike, Mark, we'll see you both in a few minutes. Thank you. Well, as they were talking about, we're in the middle of a few different storm systems this week. Several rounds of rain and a little bit of snow. Meteorologist Tyler Hughes has a closer look.
It makes
We've been
them
locked
feel
in
better
sort of
when
an
they
unsettled pattern lately.
they have
We had
it
a
in their
system
hands.
move through yesterday. We're tracking more
They don't have
wintry
it
weather
digitally,
tomorrow
you know?
and potentially on Monday as well. So what's up with this string of unsettled, we say we enter into an unsettled pattern. What does that actually mean? And it has something to do with the jet stream.
I don't
So
order
let's define
delivery
the jet
too
stream
much.
first. It's
The only
a
place I
narrow,
order is like in the
quick-moving
winter
band
time.
of wind very
It's the
high up in the
pizzeria.
atmosphere. When we say high up in
Pizzeria,
the atmosphere,
I know the
we're
owner,
talking about 30,000
and
feet.
I know the people that
is where
work there,
this
so that when they see my
quick-moving
number,
band of
my name
wind
come up,
is. And how
my
quick
pizzas
is it
are
moving?
always
Well, it could
beautiful.
be. It speeds up to 250 miles per hour, very commonly over
really good people.
100 miles per hour. And just to show you here, I'll show you what the jet stream looks like over the country right now. It's very strong at the moment and is sort of right over our area. And that is part of why we're seeing this unsettled pattern in place, because the storm systems that we see at the surface, the areas of low pressure that form, are steered by the upper level winds, the winds at 20, 30, 40,000 feet, what you're seeing here on this map right now. And so as these areas of low pressure form, they move right along the jet stream. And when we have a rip-roaring jet stream that's set up right over us like we do right now, that is prime for multiple areas of low pressure, multiple storm systems to form and make their way along the jet stream. But it's not just about when we see rain or perhaps even wintry weather here in New England. The jet stream is also doing something really cool right now, and it has to do with some flights. And the jet stream affects flights all the time. Usually flights from west to east speed up a little bit, and pilots will intentionally steer in the jet stream to be a little bit more fuel efficient, maybe make the flight a bit shorter, but flights in the opposite direction can be slower. And of course, pilots usually try to avoid the jet stream when it's headed in the opposite direction.
Yeah, because it slows it down.
It's perfectly safe to fly through. Sometimes it can cause a little bit of clear air turbulence, but of course that's no problem. When we have a jet stream that's this quick though, sometimes you can get flights that are sped up quite a bit by it.
Yeah.
And so check this out. I saw this, super cool. This was on Tuesday, a JetBlue flight from Los Angeles to JFK Airport flew in that very strong area of the jet stream you saw. It was over New Mexico on Tuesday.
This plane had a ground speed of 755 miles per hour at its peak. And typically, one of these jets has a ground speed around 500 miles per hour. So relative to the ground, this thing flying over 200 miles per hour faster than it normally would be, all thanks to a little weather phenomena called the jet stream. And good news for the passengers in that flight, too. It ended up arriving 39 minutes early. So the jet stream has a little bit to do with our weather here at home.
39 minutes early. That's
also
nice.
has a little bit to do with how long your flight might take, depending on where you're going.
Yeah, that's why I like when going to Puerto Rico, because like sometimes depending on how the weather is, you could like coming down it's a little slower, but it's because of the winds. You're going more towards it, but then coming back home, it's like you're flying with the winds, and it tends to go a little bit faster, and a little turbulence. You know, from either side, you still get turbulence. But I like how you could get early when you use the jet stream to your advantage if you have the proper aircraft to be on it to begin with. But that's pretty cool. 39 minutes early from LAX to JFK. That's wow. All right, we're here for the last two videos. That's going for Tyson De La Cruz. So let's go ahead and set it up, and we're gonna watch. So before I do that, I gotta see what I'm gonna open. I got the new Ascend the Hero, so I got a couple of new things, but I'm not gonna want to open that right now. I don't want to open that right now. I know I got something good. I have a feeling. I got the 151. That's over there. I got another one over here. This one has a nicer box. That box is beat up. It's a beat up box. But beat up boxes, from what I known from my card days, those are the boxes that have good shit. The beat up boxes always have good shit. So I have a beat up box. I got a Pokeball here that is beat up also. It has a dent on it. So a lot of people were passing it up. So I was like, fuck it. I got it. So I got the abuse, some of the Pokemon abuse Pokemons. I'm trying to see, or maybe I just go with a pack opening. Maybe I'll just go with a pack opening. I got to decide before the show's over which pack opening should I do. Maybe you could help me, Chloe, and we'll figure it out. All right, so let's go ahead and watch some Tyson De La Cruz.
It's true. As your next mayor, I will freeze your rent.
Paid for by Zoran for NYC.
In order to get to this point of closing the gap on both this fiscal year and the next fiscal year, we are forced to raid the rainy day fund, the retiree health benefits trust reserve, and to increase property taxes.
America, remember when Zoran Mamdani promised you free bus rides, free childcare, and affordable housing? Well, he just unveiled a $127 billion budget.
We will be forced onto a much more damaging path of last resort, raising property taxes and raiding our reserves.
The last time New York City raised property taxes was after terrorists attacked the city. But Mamdani's been in office.
Terrorist is back in the city.
He's already breaking the streak. Here's the kicker. Governor Kathy Hochul, a Democrat, just told him absolutely not on his plan to tax the rich. And the only tool he has left is your property taxes.
Damn.
What is up, guys? Tyson De La Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. New York City, Zoran Mamdani. Promise everything for free, realize you can't pay for it, then raid taxpayers' wallets while calling it a last resort. Let me show you exactly how this scam works. Let me take you guys back on the campaign trail because this is where the con originally started. Zoran Mamdani ran for mayor, promising to make New York City affordable again. Free MTA buses for everyone, universal childcare, government-run grocery stores to lower food costs. And when people ask, how are you going to pay for it? His answer was simple. We're going to tax the rich.
The first path repairs the structural imbalance between the city and the state. We want to work with Albany to raise personal income taxes by 2% on the 33,000 New Yorkers earning more than $1 million a year, and to raise corporate taxes on the most profitable corporations.
There was just a tiny problem with that plan. Mayors don't control state income tax. The power belongs to the governor and the state legislator. So you people who got fooled into what Mamdani was selling you, Mamdani's entire campaign platform, every promise that he made was based on something that he literally could not do without approval. And you New York liberals fell for it. This is Socialist 101, folks. Promise everything free. Tell people the only reason they're struggling is because rich people aren't paying enough. Get elected, then realize you can't actually deliver on anything. That's worse than eating gas station sushi. So how do you do it? You raise taxes on the middle class instead and call it, this is my last resort, okay?
One energetic rally does not get me to change my positions, I assure you. But I do hear people's voices. I process what everybody says, but I'm also have to balance governing this state and making sure that those people who are actually the reason we have a generous, supportive budget that helps lift people up, it's their revenues that we tax. 1.5% of New Yorkers cover about a third of our budget. That's enormous. I'm concerned about out-migration of people who are the ones who are supporting our budget. I cannot make up for that with middle-class tax increases.
And here's Governor Hochul, a Democrat, looking at Mamdani's plan and saying, oh, heck no. She's worried about wealthy people leaving New York City, which she should be. She points out that 1.5% of New Yorkers pay a third of the state budget. If those people leave, where's that money gonna come from now? The middle class. Yeah. That's where it's going to come from. And she's not doing that. So Zoran Mamdani's entire plan just collapsed. The governor said, no, his first path is dead. And now he's stuck with what he calls a second path, which, my friends, is just a fancy way of saying he's going to raise your property taxes. Now let's talk about this budget because the numbers here are absolutely insane. Mamdani just unveiled a $127 billion budget deficit for New York City. Let me put that in perspective for you here, guys. The entire state of Florida, which has 22 million people, operates a $117 billion budget. New York City has 8 million people and needs $10 billion more than Florida to actually function. Make it make sense.
Mayor Zoran Mamdani is set to present his first preliminary budget this afternoon at 1:30 down at City Hall, which will provide a window into his priorities. By law, the budget has to be balanced, meaning the revenues must equal or exceed spending. Ahead of that presentation at City Hall this afternoon, yesterday, Governor Kathy Hochul announced she is giving the mayor $1.5 billion in state money over the next 2 fiscal years to help plug the city's 2-year deficit of $7 billion. So do the math. That means the city still must close a $5.5 billion hole.
And here's where the scam gets exposed. Mamdani inherited a $5.4 billion budget deficit from Eric Adams. That's bad. But you know what he did? He increased the budget from last year's $122 billion to this year's $127 billion. That is a $5 billion increase in spending. So let me get this straight. You inherited a deficit and your solution is to spend more money. What? Then you turn around and say, because of this budget deficit, I have to raise taxes. No, brother. No. You created the deficit by spending more money that you don't even have.
We've also just received information that new data in the state's school aid formula will bring an additional $97 million to New York City on a recurring basis. All of that brings the fiscal deficit down to $5.4 billion.
But wait, didn't he just say the deficit was $7 billion 2 weeks ago? What happened to the other $1.6 billion?
Less than a month ago, Mamdani raised the alarm that the city would be facing a $12 billion budget gap over 2 fiscal years, saying the only way out of this crisis would be to raise taxes on millionaires and corporations.
Oh, that's right. A month ago, Mamdani was screaming about $12 billion deficit. Then 2 weeks later, he admitted they forgot to factor in Wall Street bonuses and year-end tax revenue. So it's actually only $7 billion. Now it's $5.4 billion after the Hochul bailout. So which is it? Is it $12 billion? Is it $7 billion? Is it $5.4 billion? Or are you just making up numbers to justify whatever tax increase you want?
The Citizens Budget Commission, which is a nonpartisan fiscal watchdog group, sent a letter to the Mamdani administration warning against raising taxes to fill a budget gap. The group says the city's fiscal challenges are a result of excessive spending rather than insufficient revenues.
Last year, city tax revenue grew over 8%. Still, we couldn't afford our spending because we layer on more and more programs. We expand programs, some of them very good, but we don't exercise the political will to shrink programs that don't improve New Yorkers' lives.
Translation here, you have a spending problem, not a revenue problem. But Mamdani doesn't want to cut spending. He wants to raise your taxes. Now, let me tell you about something called Tin Cup Day. This is where Mamdani's desperation really shows. Every year, New York City mayors go to Albany with their tin cups out, begging the state legislators for money. I guess is a tradition. But Mamdani took it to a whole new level here.
So I'm encouraged by the conversations we've been having, not only with the governor, but also with legislative leaders in Albany. And these are conversations about putting the city back on firm financial footing. When I was standing here in this room weeks ago announcing the fact that our conclusions were coming to the same level of assessment, at the very least, as the previous city controller, the current city controller, and the current state controller, we also said that we would then be updating those assessments as we got more information.
Listen to how he frames this. I'm encouraged by the conversations that we've been having. That is political speak for I am begging, I am on my knees, and they're not giving me what I want. He's asking Albany to raise state income taxes so he doesn't have to raise property taxes. And here's the problem. It is an election year, and Hochul is up for election. And she don't want that smoke. Hochul is not about to commit political suicide by raising taxes in an election year. She's already worried about wealthy people leaving New York City. So she knows if she raised taxes even more, she'll accelerate the exodus. And when the tax base leaves, who do you think's going to pay for all this? The middle class.
Hochul now seeming to step in to give an extra boost, and if approved by state lawmakers in the state budget, would give the city an additional $1 billion for fiscal year 2026, and then an additional $510 million every following year as reoccurring revenue.
So Hochul threw Zoran Mamdani a bone, $1.5 billion over 2 years. But here's what's interesting. She also promised money to Buffalo, which is facing its own budget crisis. So this isn't just about helping Zoran Mamdani. This is about helping Hochul buy political goodwill across the state while she's running for re-election.
I think she's trying to get ahead of, rallies and pushes and cornering around tax the rich. On the flip side, he gets all this money that mayors don't usually get to do with and use for programs that he's been campaigning on. It seems like a win for him. It seems like a win for her. And hopefully it's a win for New York State taxpayers as well.
But the deeper question here, is it a win for taxpayers? Because even with this $1.5 billion bailout, Mamdani still has a $5.4 billion deficit. So where's the rest of the money coming from? Now, here's the part that should terrify every New York City homeowner. Property taxes. The last time New York City raised property taxes was September 11th, 2001, after terrorists attacked the city, after the World Trade Centers fell. Since then, New York has been through the 2008 financial crisis, C-19 pandemic, multiple budget shortfalls. They still did not raise property taxes. Bloomberg didn't raise them. De Blasio didn't raise them. Adams didn't raise them. But Zoran.
This would effectively be a tax on working and middle-class New Yorkers who have a median income of $122,000. The second path also requires us to raid our reserves. It would mean withdrawing $980 million from our city's rainy day fund in fiscal year 2026 and $229 million from the Retiree Health Benefit Trust in fiscal year 2027. These are steps that have been taken before, but only in moments of extraordinary external crisis.
And listen how he frames this. This would effectively be a tax on the working and middle class New Yorkers who have a median income of $122,000. He's admitting that this tax increase will hit the middle class, the same people he promised to help, the same people he said would benefit from taxing the rich. So what is the extraordinary external crisis right now? There's not one. The crisis is that Mamdani promised all this free crap that he can't deliver on, and now he needs your money to pay for it.
The second path also requires us to raid our reserves. It would mean withdrawing $980 million from our city's rainy day fund in fiscal year 2026 and $229 million from the Retiree Health Benefit Trust in fiscal year 2027.
That's money that was supposed to be for actual emergencies. We're talking about hurricanes, terrorist attacks, pandemics. But meet the Zoran Mamdani wants to spend it on his regular budget. This is like maxing out your credit cards, then raiding your kids' college fund to pay for daily expenses. It's not just irresponsible. It's setting up future disasters, just kicking the can down the road.
New York values dictate that we look out for people. We take care of our seniors. We don't take away their health care. We don't take away food from children. So, I've been in 16 elections now, Jessica. I know how to do this. And this will be one that's very interesting.
And here's what makes this even more infuriating. Mamdani is threatening to raise your property taxes while he's still spending billions of dollars on illegal immigrants. Free housing and hotels, free food, healthcare, education, no plan to stop spending, but American citizens who pay taxes, his constituents. Sorry, we're broke. We need to raise your property taxes. Now, let me show you the gaslighting technique that Mamdani is using, because this is classic socialist manipulation.
And there are two paths that we can walk. One that offers long-term stability, and a second one with significant pain that we deeply hope to avoid. The first path repairs the structural imbalance between the city and the state. We want to work with Albany to raise personal income taxes by 2% on the 33,000 New Yorkers earning more than $1 million a year, and to raise corporate taxes on the most profitable corporations. And we know that for far too long, New Yorkers have given far more to the state than what we have received in return. It is time to end the drain.
This is also a sales presentation trick here. Path one is the fair and sustainable path. That's taxing the rich and ending what he calls the drain, where New York City gives more to the state than it gets back. Path two is a painful path of last resort. That's raising property taxes on you. But notice how he frames this. Path one is good. It's great. Path two is bad. And it's not his fault that he has to take path two. It's Albany's fault. It's Hochul's fault. And it's the state legislator's fault. Everyone else is at fault but him.
I am encouraged by the conversations we're having with Albany about how we can bridge that $7 billion gap for these next two fiscal years.
Well, we would have to raise property taxes.
I'm encouraged by where we are, and I'll tell you that I think that the most straightforward ways of dealing with this are structural measures, whether it be the taxation of the wealthiest New Yorkers, increasing taxes on the most profitable corporations, as well as by ending the drain, the relationship between the city and the state.
The state legislator is not going to raise income taxes on an election year. So this first path he keeps talking about is not happening. It was never going to happen. He knew that when he ran for mayor. This is the classic socialist bait and switch. Promise everything free, get elected, then say, oh, no, wait, my bad. We can't afford that because insert excuse here. But we can afford to raise your taxes. Funny how that works, right?
Mamdani lost a lot of his momentum when he said that budget gap shrunk from $12 billion to $7 billion. Mm-hmm. But Governor Kathy Hochul still stepping in to provide him with that extra $1.5 billion if approved by the state lawmakers. But right now, the state lawmakers on both sides, on the Senate side and the Assembly side, they're likely still to pass one House budgets that do increase taxes on millionaires and corporations. But Governor Kathy Hochul is still holding that line. And I think she's hoping with this $1.5 billion that she's giving to Mamdani that he'll be maybe back off a little bit on his push to tax the rich.
She doesn't want him holding rallies and creating political pressure during her re-election campaign. So she's buying him off with state money, hoping he'll quietly raise property taxes instead of making political heat for himself. So let me ask the people who voted for Zoran Mamdani, where's all the free stuff? Where's the free buses? Where's the free childcare? Where's the free government grocery stores? Free MTA buses, abandoned, kaput, can't afford it due to the budget deficit. The budget deficit that he made worse by increasing spending to $5 billion. Government grocery stores, forgotten. Polymarket beat you to it. Logistically impossible. Socialist fantasy. Affordable housing, getting worse. Property taxes are going up, which means rents are going to go up too. He's campaigning on making New York affordable, and he's literally making it less affordable.
I cannot do that to the middle class and the struggling New Yorkers. So this is the balance. I mean, this is my position. I'm always having conversations with the leaders of the legislature and regular communication, especially about how we're dealing with the shutdown and the impact on New Yorkers. I mean, these are real problems that I think it's far worse than anyone anticipated.
Even the Democrats are calling out how unrealistic his promises were. This person at a rally said free busing, free childcare. That's pretty ambitious. The state is in serious fiscal trouble as well. Translation, you're living in a fantasy.
These are all people that want to promote communism in our city, take over our privately owned bodegas and grocery stores, cause our housing to be run by government. We've all seen what happened with NYCHA when government runs housing. Take away, our buildings from our landlords and make them into government-run buildings. This is not America. This is not capitalism. This is communism.
She's right. Zoran Mamdani didn't run to manage the city. He ran to implement his ideology. And when the ideology crashes and burns into economic reality, it's the taxpayers who pay the price. America, Zoran Mamdani promised you free buses, free childcare, and affordable housing. He said he'd pay for it by taxing the rich, but he's the mayor. He doesn't have control over state income taxes. His entire campaign was based on something that he couldn't do. Governor Hochul told him no, she won't raise state taxes in the election year. So Mamdani unveiled a $127 billion budget, increased spending by $5 billion, and now he's threatened to raise your property taxes for the first time since 9/11. That is a 23-year streak that he's about to break after just 42 days in office. But the real last resort would be cutting the billions spent on illegal immigrants, ending sanctuary city policies, and prioritizing American citizens. He won't do that because ideology matters more
the damn
than fiscal
budget.
responsibility.
There's
So
all those
New
people
York,
there.
you voted for free stuff. You're getting tax hikes. You voted for affordability. You're getting the most expensive city in America. You voted for a democratic socialist. You're getting exactly what socialism always delivers. Broken
opposite.
promises and empty wallets. Let me
Yeah,
know what
the
you think about
opposite.
this. Drop it down
They
in
know
the
the
comment
prom-
section
they know
down
the
below.
go to
Smash
the
the like
prom-
button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Got to get to 1,000 so I could get this guy back onto the show. I got to bring Tyson back onto the show. Yeah, like, did Zohan ever graduated like economics, or did he ever like work on a budget before? Has he ever like ran anything before? No, no. He's a rookie. So, like, we know a lot of illegals are there in New York. A lot. They're everywhere. They're all over the sidewalks. You see shit everywhere. That's the illegals. And a lot of that money is going to those people. You gotta house them. You gotta buy them brand new cars. You gotta buy them brand new clothes. You gotta get them winter jackets, winter gears. They got more shit than I do. On the taxpayer's dime. They're not even Americans. That's like, I go on vacation, right? And I go and they take care of everything. I didn't need to bring my luggage or nothing. They gave me even a brand new car. Here's a house. Here's your free internet and cable with all the channels. Oh, here's a year supply of Tide and cleaning supplies. And the average American here fucking struggling using Fabuloso. Like, what the fuck? I don't know, man. It pisses me off. Tyson would have been here, but we got to reach 1,000 to bring back Tyson. We have to earn it. We have to earn Tyson. We have to bring him back. But the only way we could do it, we got to like and subscribe. And the subscribing part is the most important part, because we got to get more people to subscribe and build this number up to 1,000. We're halfway there. We're 3 subscribers to 550. So we're like close to like 450. Right now we're 453 subscribers to 1,000. So let's go ahead and set this up and let's watch the last show of the night, I believe. Let me double check first. See if there's any breaking news. That would kill me, right? If we have like breaking news. It's like, at least Trump gave him a deadline. 10 days. So that's okay. Okay, so nothing. I don't see nothing. Let me see here. Should I check one more thing? Nah, there's nothing, which is a good thing, which is a very good thing. So we're going to go straight to Tyson de la Cruz.
CBS investigators have uncovered a mountain of debt owed to the city of Chicago.
We're talking tens of millions of dollars owed by the city's own employee.
America, Chicago's own government employees owe the city $23.5 million in unpaid fines and fees. 1 of every 3 CTA workers owes money to the city.
Some of the more ironic debts include employees of the Department of Water Management owing a combined $312,000.
These are people who work for the city and they won't even pay their own bills.
All right, this is a group called Truth in Accounting. They put this study out this morning. $41 billion is what they're saying.
Chicago's budget deficit 41 times bigger than what they were telling you.
The ultra rich and big corporations have to pay their fair share in taxes.
Because apparently the answer to government incompetence is always more money. But sure, let's give him more tax revenue to mismanage.
That's crazy.
What is up, guys? Tyson de la Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Let me start with the most infuriating part of this story. Chicago's own government employees owe the city $23.5 million in unpaid fines, fees, and bills. These aren't private citizens. These are people who work for the city, people whose salaries are paid by taxpayers, and they won't even pay their parking tickets.
Some of the more ironic debts include employees of the Department of Water Management owing a combined $312,000.
1 in every 3 CTA workers owes money. Think about that, guys. If you work for Chicago's transit system, there is 1 in 3 chance you are not paying your bills to the city that employs you. And the Department of Water Management employees owe $312,000, including $61,000 in unpaid water bills. You work for the water department and you're not paying your water bill. That's like working at a restaurant and stealing food from the kitchen.
Streets and sanitation employees owing a total of $364,000, with $279,000 attributable to parking fines and fees. And CDOT employees owing $202,000 in total debt, most of which, or $145,000, stems from, you guessed it, parking-related violations.
You're writing tickets for other people while you're not paying your own parking tickets. This is peak Chicago corruption.
But it's 2 sister agencies that have employees with the most debt. Employees of the Chicago Board of Education owe nearly $10 million, and CTA employees owe nearly $9 million.
One of the things that they should be called upon to do is to pay up.
These are 2 agencies that Brandon Johnson claims are his top priorities, whatever that means, and their employees won't even pay their bills. But they won't because there is absolutely no accountability in Chicago government.
This is a group called Truth in Accounting. They put this study out this morning. $41 billion. That's what they're saying.
That's like what?
That's 41 times what the city says.
And how did they get that number? They factored in pension debt, borrowing in other agencies like Chicago Public Schools. Technically, CPS is a separate government entity, but it's still Chicago taxpayers on the hook for the debt.
So they give Chicago a letter grade for how it's managed its finances. You can guess what that letter grade is.
And it breaks down to about 43 grand of debt per taxpayer. Every single person paying taxes in Chicago owes 43 grand to cover the city's debt. That's a new car. That's a new Tesla. That's a down payment on a house. It's gone. It's absolutely gone. Spent by politicians who can't manage money.
The mayor says this budget that he did not sign. He just let it go, and now it is enacted. He says it's not in balance. He started laying off some workers, and he says they're going to have to come back and figure something out mid-year.
He just let it go into effect, and now, obviously, he's laying off workers, saying he'll have to figure something out by mid-year. This is the same guy demanding more taxes. He can't even manage the money he already has, but he wants more money. Make it make sense.
How do you ensure that what's happening in Minneapolis doesn't happen here in Chicago?
Well, first of all, the reckless and unconstitutional behavior by the Trump administration.
Oh, blame
A
Trump.
great deal of terror, not just in Chicago, but as you mentioned, Minneapolis.
Blame
across the
Trump.
country. I've used every single executive tool
Okay.
that's available to me to respond to.
That's
what
easy.
Essentially, is an
Blame Trump.
unprecedented moment in our nation's history. Where
That, my friends, is not an answer. That is a word salad topped with a little bit of croutons and a little bit of bacon bits. He didn't say what tools. He didn't explain the plan.
Have you thought about, to save lives, maybe cooperating more with the feds?
Well, look, we have historically cooperated with the federal government to get
This guy's
illegal
an
guns
idiot.
off the streets of Chicago, in other cases of trafficking. This is not about cooperation. This is about whether or not we're going to subject the people of this city and this country to an authoritarian regime.
What?
Yep. An authoritarian regime. Yeah.
What an
He's
idiot.
talking about enforcing immigration law. It's not authoritarianism. That is law, Brandon Johnson. But Brandon Johnson would rather protect illegal immigrants than cooperate with federal law enforcement.
I've said from the very beginning that we have to ensure that the state of Illinois plays
This
its
guy's a
part
fucking
in
idiot.
generating revenue so that we can actually
You
deliver
get
those
all
services.
idiots to
I've
run
said from the
Chicago.
very beginning, the millionaire's tax
The
is
last
something that we
chick
have
was
to
a
continue
fucking
to push
idiot too.
forward.
Then Johnson pivoted to his favorite topic. Tax the rich. We got to tax the rich. The millionaire's tax is something that we continue to push. And he's been pushing it for years. Keeps failing, but he won't give up because he genuinely, absolutely believes that the solution to government incompetence is more money. Now, let me show you what Brandon Johnson isn't doing while he's demanding more taxes. Filling leadership positions at Chicago's most important agencies.
CTA, CHA, and CPS are functioning despite the lack of permanent leadership for a long time.
Even with interims in those positions, government has not stopped.
That's the bar now. That's the bar now, guys. Government hasn't completely collapsed. That's why we're celebrating over here in Chicago.
It matters a lot that there are interims running these major agencies. You lose long-term strategic planning. You lose accountability.
The CTA needs permanent leadership to protect federal funding for the Red Line extension, and CHA needs leadership to address homelessness. CPS needs a CEO.
The selection process hit another snag when 6 board members accused the mayor and his allies of sabotaging the search process by cutting ties with a search firm.
So not only is he not filling the position, he's actively preventing others from filling it. Johnson claims he's looking for people who share his values. Translation, he wants yes men who won't question his terrible decisions and policies. And apparently there aren't many people willing to take that deal. Now here's the most embarrassing part of this entire story. The city council had to create a budget accountability coalition to make sure that Brandon Mohawk Johnson actually implements the budget that they passed.
We were listening to what the credit ratings were saying around credit downgrade. And so whether it was not making the advanced pension payment, borrowing for fire, we thought we need to step up and really get a budget passed.
The alderman said they had to step up because the credit rating agencies were threatening to downgrade Chicago's debt. Johnson's budget was so bad that the city was heading towards a shutdown. So the council took the budget away from him and passed it on their own.
The budget had 98.6% of what the mayor proposed. We took a look at 1.4%, and the 1.4% of the budget that we looked at generated a $15 million surplus. So we had we had more time to look at this budget, we could have identified additional savings.
Translation, Johnson's budget is full of waste, and we're just scratching the surface.
Anytime the city council and the mayor there's a little bit of friction there, that's good for the taxpayers. What we've seen is that rubber stamp city councils in the past have led to bad outcomes for the city.
And the alderman admitted that Chicago City Council has historically been a rubber stamp for whatever the mayor wanted. Not oversight, not accountability, just, yes, sir, whatever you say. That's how you get a budget crisis so bad that credit agencies threaten downgrades. That's how you get a mayor who can't even fill basic leadership positions. America, Chicago's government employees owe the city $23.5 million in unpaid fines and fees. 1 in 3 CTA workers won't pay their bills. And Brandon Johnson's solution: tax the rich. The city council had to take the budget away from him and pass their own. And now they created a budget accountability coalition to babysit him because he can't be trusted to implement his own budget. This is what happens when you elect Democratic socialists with zero management experience to run the 3rd largest city in America. Government employees don't pay their bills. The deficit is 41 times bigger than advertised, and the mayor demands more taxes while leaving critical positions vacant. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Tyson, for a great upload.
Chicago, y'all crazy. In New York City too. Like, they don't know how to budget. They don't know economics. They don't know how to put numbers together. You gotta understand, it takes a certain breed of that knowledge to run any government or any business. Example, Donald Trump. Look at his empire. Look at how he ran his businesses, and you know, a lot were successful and a lot weren't. But one thing with Trump, he never quit. Even when he ran out of money and he had no money, he was like owing the banks. Guess what? He found a way, and he brought his empire back and to infinity now, because the guy's a complete winner and he wins every day. And the fact that people can't stand him because he's very successful. He knows how to run a budget. He knows how to run a government. But I'm not liking $10 billion going to Ukraine. That's a problem that I still have a problem with that. But anyhow, I got to wrap it up because I got an early appointment tomorrow. If not, I would have been here longer. But I'll see if I come on tomorrow. I was thinking about taking tomorrow off to make it a 3-day weekend to at least try to relax, because I know something's gonna pop off. And once it does, it's like full on reporting the whole freaking time. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'll probably be here tomorrow. Have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully there's no war. Hopefully we could come to some kind of agreement. But I doubt it. And I feel like we're in trouble. They're in trouble. And can't wait to see it. All right, guys. Peace.